country victory. It takes victorious people to build a victorious family. It takes a victorious family to build a victorious community. And communities aligned to change a country. Therefore, we are more than conquerors through Christ Jesus, who loved us. Oh yes. Affirming our confidence in the finished work of the cross, accepting our responsibility in the unfinished work of working out our salvation with fear and trembling every day. God has done his part, but we must do our part. That's why we come every morning. That's why we strive for excellence every day. There are some things that are accomplished in a day. Events are great for decisions, but you need habits to really get to your destiny. So while we are happy about the power in a day, we also believe in the consistency of daily. So great things can happen in a day, but you need to continue every morning, same time, consistently knocking, pushing, asking. That's how to build. Here a little, there a little. It's all the things we do here on the show. Consistently asking the right questions of the right people, making sure we get answers, using the power of radio. It's an amazing opportunity. My name is Bernard Ablet. Thank you for staying with us. So while events are great for decisions, habits are better for progress and change. Oh, Diana Hamilton, a powerful vessel, a voice for our time, rekindling the tentacle spirit from Accra to the world, Ghana to the world. My favorite part is coming shortly. Business Sense brought to you by ADB, by offering a variety of personal loans, including top-ups at highly reduced rates with longer tenors of up to 6 years. An offer open to non-customers as well. Call us on 0302-210-210. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly agricamo. Starting the show, the newspaper review, brought to you by Total. Excellium has many benefits, including our 3-in-1 action. Cleans your engine, extends its life, lowers your fuel consumption. Comes the cumulative effect of its anti-corrosion, anti-wear, and detergent additives. Excellium also lowers your vehicle's fuel consumption while reducing CO2 emissions. Experience the difference with Total Energy's Excellium formula. And Pan-African Payment and Settlement System from Fidelity Bank. Once again, helping to bring down the borders across Africa with a money transfer that's fast, secure, and affordable from Accra, Ghana, to Nigeria, the Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. This is my favorite part.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. We understand the excitement of preparations that comes when your child gains admission into senior high school. But we at the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB PLC, also understand the financial burden this comes with. For chopbox, trunk, school mattress, you name it. That's why we have partnered with Prospectus Ghana Limited to offer financial support for parents by introducing the ADB Quick Purchase. With a smart loan of up to 20,000 Ghana cedis, you can pick up all the items on your child's prospectus for school. ADB PLC offers you a repayment plan of 12 months to relieve you of all that heavy financial burden. Every ADB customer who receives their salaries through the bank, military and police personnel, and all other workers on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll qualify for this facility. Walk into any ADB branch nationwide or any Prospectus Ghana Limited office near you to apply for the ADB Quick Purchase. Terms and conditions apply. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly a quick and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Stepping up in style. 6:35. We're jumping into a newspaper review segment. Today is Monday, it's what, 29th, I guess.
Yeah.
29th day of July. And of course, August comes our way shortly. I have Richard Delaskai in the house. And Godfred Akotobuafo.
Yeah, man.
Yes! Yeah, it's a great morning.
Yes, it's a very reflective morning.
Yes.
The weather is reflective.
It's true. It's not. You know, it's funny. On Saturday, it didn't rain, but the sun didn't come out.
Yes.
It was some way.
It was good weather.
Yeah, it was Atamil's weather.
Yes.
That weather, the first time we noticed it was in 2012. At least I noticed that weather within the July period. And it's been, this month has been the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
The sun will not shine, it will not really rain, but it's just like, you know.
I guess that is what motivated Kokukwati, this weather.
Yeah, interesting article.
It leaves you very reflective.
Yes, it
so
is.
he sat down and was like, sir.
It's actually on the front page of the Republic. They lead with it. He says, what?
Reform or perish, Kweku Kwatun wants MPP. Also, MPP's Ahiagba escapes death. Party says is stable.
Okay.
Also, police officers put on notice as Henry Quartier warns against untidy habits in new houses. I hope they don't carry their water producing When you the producing refrigerators there.
So Henry
that one myself, I'll go
he
and
warns
cut them.
against untidy
Untidy
habits in
habits.
new houses.
Yes, you know they like their wives like producing.
It's also to be fair. The police rooms were small. So what I knew was that because the rooms were small, they kept their freezers outside.
They like producing ice blocks. I'm telling you.
They should expand
ice block business.
I protest this thing. So usually the police report their rooms were small.
Okay.
Now they build. If you give them bigger rooms, they'll put their freezer in the room.
All right. That's
But his point is, if you put the freezer, those still don't start Belima from the place. That's his problem.
It's better for your partner in police to do a side hustle than to collect a bribe.
Okay.
So I commend all police wives who are selling her all the things you are complaining about.
We hope that they give them a space for it.
Yes. It's not easy
proper space.
It's not easy to
for
be
it.
a police
market.
Wife, yes.
He's gone to the field. You don't know if he will come back.
You know, if you go to the prison service, they have a prisons market.
Yes.
So you have a police market.
And they can sell all the
and the prices should be good.
Focus on the story. This guy is doing it.
The prices should be good. Front page of the Daily Graphic. AU adopts President Akufo-Addo's continent-wide interoperability. NDC ignites flame for change. Set stage for 2024 election showdown.
The Today newspaper says 2024 elections will police your ballot. Mahama assures NDC supporters. And then also to the state annual Ghana Fest celebrated in Chicago. Some other news stories here in the newspaper this morning.
The AU's adoption of an interoperability system as suggested by Ghana's president also makes it to the front page of the Daily Guide. Ochehene is talking about Ejapadia. It says Ochehene rubbishes Ejapadia fiction.
Let me take you to the Inquisitor. Request for passport to travel. ABAJ bounced as OSP raises superior argument in court. NDC drops missiles at Tamale as party launches 2024 campaign. Ayariga cautions against elections, prophecies, and I'll snatch Bole Bamboy seat. This is according to the NDC MPP parliamentary candidate in the area.
Front page of the Herald newspaper. The regional minister is on the front page. Regional minister cracks down on pavement trading ahead of Homowo clean up. Again, Akufo-Addo yet to commit to peaceful transfer of power, according to Siedu in Ketia. The Informer newspaper says, towards economic upliftment of Western regions, Serene Insurance opens Takoradi branch. Forgive me. Application for U.S. summer camp travel. Court says no to PPA boss over fears of Maslock box escape. Also, Mahama urges electorates to compare track records. Some other stories here. The publisher also runs with the interoperability story from the AU Ochehene on the front page of the paper as well. If you go to the Supreme newspaper, we're told clash of the Northerners. Baumia crowd in constituency event surpasses Mahama's national campaign launch. How did they measure that? Front page of the BNFT. Finally from me, Bernard. Banks facing rising non-performing loans amid credit growth. BOG better positioned to cushion economy against external shocks. Two more newspapers. The Anchor newspaper says 13-year-old orphan sexually abused at Winneba. Traumatized boy unable to walk properly. Also, MPP electrifies Mahama's backyard as Rafael Kuma vows to snatch Bole Bamboy seat. Some other stories here. If you go to the Daily Post newspaper, it is not about how long you serve, but how well you serve, Mahama says, as he launches campaign in Tamale. Right. And also, it's been 8 years of corruption, lies, and incompetence. This is according to the minority leader, right, Honorable Atu Forson. So, a lot of stories on Citi Newsroom this morning. Let's start with the politics. Elections 2024 will keep a 48-hour vigil until all votes are counted. This is Mahama saying. He also says he will improve free SHS and remove double track system, all from the Tamale event. Okay. Then Kuku Ating's letter, it says Ghana's economy is being like a Ponzi scheme. Kuku Ating is being quoted here. Okay. Baumia says you prioritize farmers with advanced technologies and affordable equipment. Okay. Campaigning in the north. Now the story that caught my attention though, this one, it says Momo transactions fall by 24 million. Value declines by 10 billion. So there's an issue there we need to look at. Why are Momo transactions declining? Also, traders are blaming irregular rainfall for increase in yam price. I told you I bought a tuna of
a tuber of Pona at Medina Market for 70 cedis.
Whoa.
And they said it's new yam from the north.
Hey.
So we bought 140 Ghana cedis.
That's serious.
So traders are talking about irregular rainfall for the yam price increase. Meanwhile, Akosombo Dam victims call for proper resettlement plan over impending spillage. So the rains causing a bit of consternation among those people as well. Major Online has an expose, customs officials demanding bribes in porous borders, hotline documentary. Also, fuel tanker spills content on the Cape Costa Kradi Highway. And then how a man remained in prison for 6 years, though the court had acquitted him. This is still from the Justice for All program. Those stories being done. And then Ochini Rabish's Japadia document says it's a fiction to incite hate against Achems. If you go to Star FM, the lead story this morning, aggrieved customers of legacy fund management demand locked up investments. Meanwhile, KOD endorses Mahama for president, election 2024.
Okay.
And then Ghanaian youth want experienced hands to rescue the nation. This is the quote from the Mahama speech at the events. Class FM, Richard Ahiagba stable, responding to treatment according to MPP. And then 24-hour economy will be massive youth employment. This is Mahama speaking at the event as well. Now, two big stories globally. Thousands more children killed in Golan Heights strike. So Israel and Syria, Hezbollah coming into the picture. Venezuela's Maduro declared winner in disputed vote. And then everywhere else, Kamala Harris and her campaigning in the US. So where do we start from this morning?
Shall we start from the north?
Yes, lots of campaigning there.
Okay, so let me take you to the Daily Post. They say on page 6 that it's not about how long you serve, but how well you serve. Mahama says as he launches campaign in Tamale. Now, the National Democratic Congress has officially launched its campaign for the 2024 general elections. Now, the event, which happened at Tamale in the northern region on Saturday, July 27, 2024, saw Mahama announce that he's ready to do his best to put the country on the right path. Now, according to the former president, who can only rule for one term if he wins the December elections, quote unquote, 4 years of a good leader will make more impact than 8 years of a dishonest leader. It is not about how long you serve, but how well you serve.
Still in the north, Mahama spoke about the SHS, free SHS. He says they will improve it and remove double track system. He also urged NDC supporters and executives and officials to do a 48-hour vigil. So John Rahman Mahama, NDC flag bearer, has called on party members to remain vigilant until all ballots are counted by the Electoral Commission in the 2024 general elections. Speaking at the NDC's campaign launch in Tamale on Saturday, the former president urged supporters to commit to protecting the ballot. The other theme was General Mosquito. The Herald leads with that, where they referred to his criticism of the president for not. So I think
committing to transfer of
so
power.
he was talking to security agencies and the rest of them about how they should see the work and all of that. As the
yes, you find that story on page 2 of the Herald, where the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Sidun Ketia, in Tamale on Saturday challenged the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to publicly declare his commitment to a peaceful handover of power to the winner of the December 7, 2024 presidential election, as other presidents did in the past. General Mosquito expressed concerns about the president's previous statements that he would hand over power to a candidate from his party, the NPP, which he believed were mere political pomposity meant to excite his party's followers.
In the north, Baumia is there, and then I think Bolo Bamboy, MPP candidate, also says he's going to win. Let's give those details.
So let me take you to the Anchor newspaper. The story by Kofi Mensah says the Bolo Bamboy constituency in the Savannah region has been invigorated ahead of the December elections, following a recent visit by the Vice President and New Patriotic Party flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Baumia during his campaign tour of that part of the country. Now, the tour, which captivated the area a week ago, has energized the party supporters and made it more appealing to voters of all ages. Now, Dr. Baumia's issues-based campaign, emphasizing his vision of building a modern Ghana rooted in education, technology, and skills acquisition, has resonated well with the grassroots. And we're told that Raffle Kuma, who is the MPP parliamentary candidate for the area, is promising to grab the seat for the end.
All right,
I'll take you to page 32 of the Daily Graphic, which has a story that is dear to my heart. Experts call for campaign promises scrutiny. Michael Quay writes that as the December 2024
Michael Quay.
Yes.
It sounded like Michael Quay.
Okay. Michael Quay.
Yes.
It says that as the December 2024 presidential campaign front inches towards the home stretch, the political scene has been inundated with lofty promises and sometimes audacious pledges that somehow promise to overhaul the debt-ridden Ghanaian economy to an instant paradise. From the hard realities of the economy to the mundane subject, there has been no dull movement thus far as the leading figures, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and former President John Dramani Mahama, proposed digitalization and the 24-hour economy respectively as the foundations. The story then goes on to deliver 4 expert views who say that the promises that they are making must be scrutinized even more deeply. So you can go to page 32 of the Daily Graphic and read that.
Still on politics.
Yep, Kweku Kwarteng is peaking or pissing in. Now, reform or perish. The Republic newspaper comes with that story on its front page and says former Deputy Finance Minister and Obuasi West Member of Parliament Kweku Kwarteng has turned the spotlight on his own party, calling for a radical overhaul of the quote-unquote corrupt public procurement regime if the MPP wants to break the 8-year political cycle in the country. Now, in a scathing critique titled "To Break the 8, We Must First Break the Norm," Kweku Kwarteng criticized the political norm of praising past achievements and making grand promises during elections, arguing that this approach has led to quote-unquote primitive political culture where politicians prioritize power over the future of the country.
There are 2 economy stories that
Yes, I have quite a few
are
that I want to
related
deal
for
with.
me. All right. So Momo transactions fall for the month of June, and then government misses its T-bill target. Now that suggests that people are not spending, and I don't know whether it's a wait and see or we don't have money. But let me read the first one. So Citi News is reporting that mobile money transactions took a nosedive for June 2024, according to data from the Bank of Ghana. Total number of Momo transactions dipped, falling to 644 million transactions compared to 668 recorded in May, the previous month. This translates into a fall in the total of Momo transactions value in terms of money from 234.3 billion to 224 billion. However, the balance of float, which is the amount of money held in Momo accounts, increased. So this is where the issue is. So people are keeping their money in Momo. They are not sending. So either they are paying with normal currency or they don't want to spend.
Yes.
The contraction in the use of Momo services in the last month could be attributed to economic and regulatory factors affecting the user behavior and market dynamics amidst intensified calls for the scrapping of the e-levy. Now, then in terms of interoperability, the value of transactions also dropped from 2.8 billion to 2.7. Now, let me link that to treasury bills. Now, treasury bills is government essentially borrowing money from people.
Yeah.
All right. So they sell bills and we give government money and they give us with an interest. The sale of weekly treasury bills to domestic investors fell short of its target by approximately 700 billion cedis. The reduction in the auction of the short-term instrument could largely be due to government decision to keep yields stable in the last couple of weeks. So they are not offering such a high rate to reduce the cost of servicing the debt instruments, because of course the higher the rate, it means government spends more money paying those interest. So according to this analysis, people are not taking up government's offer to buy their money in the short term.
And there's a story that is linked to this on page 39 of the Daily Graphic. Bank deposits rise sharply, but appetite for long-term savings drop.
That's quite interesting.
Yes, so total banking industry deposits at the end of 2023 amounted to 201 billion Ghana cedis, a significant increase from the 163 billion recorded in 2022. The growth underscores the competitive landscape and continuous efforts of banks to enhance their deposit basis, albeit appetite for long-term savings have dropped. The phenomenon the report observed suggests that Ghanaians may be less willing to lock their money into long-term deposits due to economic uncertainties.
But why will you go for long-term deposit when you can buy treasury bills and get 24%?
But they are warning us that they may suffer the same fate.
No, you don't get it. This is M2023. I'm just saying that the reason people will not save, the savings rate is low. The rate they give you if you put your money in a bank is less than 10%. But if government is doing T-bills for 22%, I would rather go for that. So most people, so you need to connect the dots.
Yeah.
But I think the Momo story and the T-bill story suggest to us either some restraint. I don't know whether it's ahead of elections or just because people feel like they don't want to spend.
And just a related story, Sky. On page 3 of the BNFT, banks are facing rising non-performing loans amid credit growth. So we'll also get into that later.
Sure. Let's stay with the economy. I take you to page 8 of the Republic Press. A Greek minister confirmed stabilized tomato prices during market visit.
Okay, let's
now, Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Champong, visited the tomato market at under bridge, Accra, on Friday, July 26, to verify measures made by his technical directors to the effect that tomato supply and prices would improve in mid-July. Now, following his visit, he confirmed that tomato prices have indeed moderated, with a crate now costing between 500 Ghana cedis and 700 Ghana cedis, depending on the quality and the timing of purchase. Now, the recent surge in tomato prices has sparked concern on social media and traditional platforms, prompting the minister and his team to investigate.
So where is this market?
They say Underbridge. I don't know where the
that?
Underbridge is. It the one? Is it the? I don't know which side.
We need to
It may
confirm.
well be the graphic place. Or,
These markets are important to give you some sort of anecdotal evidence of what's happening. Sometimes you also need to use these GSS statistics of the price movements when they use the consumer price index. Tomato is very key. Now, yam is also a challenge. Citi News is reporting that traders are blaming irregular rainfall for increase in yam prices. Now, yam sellers at the Nana Bosoma market in Sunyai have attributed the hike in yam prices to irregular rainfall this year and the high cost of farming inputs, according to the sellers. So I think agriculture should also go and check that as well. According to the yams, because PFJ2 talks about inputs, right? According to the yam sellers, the inadequate yam supply in the market has contributed to the high prices. Currently, 100 tubers of yam are sold between 6,000 cedis and 7,500. So you can divide it at the farm gate across the Bono region. The price of yam is currently higher at the Nana Bosoma market in Sunyani compared to the same period last year. 3 tubers of yam cost 50 cedis. So this is even cheaper. Because the one I bought in Medina was 70 cedis for one. So but in the Boso, the market in Sunyani, I think it's a yam market.
Yeah.
3 tubers cost 50 cedis.
wow!
Depending on the size. With
The
others
people are ripping us off here.
with others going for up to 100 for 3. So the Nana Bosoma market in Sunyani, maybe we should all go there. But they may not sell to you because you're buying only 3. Because they are selling, so this is the thing, they are selling the yam
No.
6,000 cedis for 100 tubers. So between 6,000 and 7,500 tubers. But then the guy breaks that down into 3 for 50 to 100 cedis.
But how much?
But in Medina, I'm buying 1 for 70. That's Bona.
yeah, but the question: how much does it cost to transport yam from the Bono
Have you
region to-
tried to transport anything from up
From
north to Accra
Accra.
before? Do you know how
So
many?
far.
Do you know how bad the roads are? Do you know the Accra commercial traffic you will get? Do you know how many police you will meet? Do you know how many checkpoints you will see? It's not easy like that too. And to store it, bro, don't make it look like
Let
that.
me-
Now, last one, the yam sellers are denying accusations that they have deliberately increased the prices.
I think they are ripping
However,
us
they attributed the hike to irregular rainfall patterns in the Bono region. If you like, hire a truck and go and buy yam from that market.
I would have to try it.
It's not
I
easy
will
like
have
that,
to try
my
it.
brother.
I have to.
Sometimes we give this ball a, you know.
Let me take you to the regional minister's office. That's the
Greater Accra, yes. On the police matter.
Yes, the Herald newspaper. No, this one on pavements actually.
Okay, after that, I want to start to do with the police.
Yes, so the
I
Greater
saw
Accra Regional
some of
Minister Nikwate Titus Glover has warned traders to stop selling on pavements and walkways in Accra,
Okay.
urging them to relocate to designated stores. Honorable Minister, the traders, the hawkers, they don't read the Herald newspaper.
that. Well, to be fair, he's been moving about. He's moving about, but he still needs to make the call. He didn't say it to the Herald. He said it somewhere in the Herald.
Yes, he explained that stopping the practice of selling on pavements will help maintain a clean environment in Accra, and this comes up as the Homework cleanup exercise.
What I will urge him to do, what I'll
phase.
urge him to do is that they can create special markets for special times.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that they should move to designated trading spots.
So they can say this morning between 10 and 2 we are marketing here. When we finish, we all clean and we go. Instead of like doing hide and seek with the people.
Okay, so let me take you to this story. Page 3 of the Republic Press says police officers put on notice as Henry Quarty warns against untidy habits in new houses. Now, Interior Minister Henry Quarty has issued a stern warning to police officers, urging them to maintain high standards of cleanliness in the new housing facilities recently provided by the government. Now, speaking at a handing over ceremony at the depot in Accra on Tuesday, Quarty emphasized the need to abandon untidy habits often seen in police barracks. Now, the government has invested in some 320 new housing units for the police at the police training school in Tesano, Accra, as part of the Security Services Housing Project Phase 3. Now, the units include 112 2-bedroom and 208 3-bedroom units, as well as additional facilities such as officers' mess, social center, multipurpose playing court, and a kindergarten. Now, Quarty stressed that the government expects officers to maintain the facility at all times, warning against the unkempt behavior often seen in police barracks. He tasked the Inspector General of Police to ensure that the new buildings do not become cluttered with items such as curtains, fridges, freezers, and bicycles.
Where was he speaking?
He was speaking at the annual.
Curtains what?
Curtains,
yes.
fridges, freezers, and bicycles.
Well, I didn't do bicycle hiring too. Charlie, let's do high bicycle.
No.
Charlie, when we were young, we used to high bike. There was a place in Madina, go and hide a bike. And then when you finish, you bring it back.
If you overspend your time,
you got problem. And they'll find you.
Yeah,
you can't escape with the bike.
If you go and spoil the bike, Charlie, you are
happy.
Let me give you 2 quick stories. Very, very sad story on P2 of the uncle. 13-year-old orphan sexually abused at Winneba. He had a 13-year-old boy who has lost both parents and ended up loitering at Winneba Beach in the central region. He's living in pain after he was sexually abused by multiple men. And the report is asking the ministry to take note of this and act. And then finally from me, I'll take you to page 63 of the Daily Graphic, where the football pitch is in danger after the Kumasi Sports Stadium, the Babaya Sports Stadium, after it was thousands gathered for a crusade over the weekend. And what even annoyed people was that they allowed vehicles to drive on the tartan tracks.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
This sports facilities, we have to talk about them. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Godfred. It's 3 minutes to 7. City Business News is next. Stay with us.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time when you come back, where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
When you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh you go work, but you know it's out in your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out in your side. And when you dream, no say I live for you. And when you hustle every day, when you wanna go, anything you do, I live for you. If I believe I live your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I live your side, fidelity.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
7 o'clock, City Business News with Goyle, Access Bank, MTN. Lati is here with the bulletin. Good morning, Ni.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. Coming up this morning, Ghana ready to meet all its debt commitments in second half of 2024 as Bank of Ghana assures of enough foreign reserves for the payment of over $470 million to Eurobond holders. Also, government misses its treasury bill target 3 weeks in a row, a development attributed to unchanged interest rate and a high auction target. Plus, is Ghana ready to transition from fossil fuel cars to electric vehicles given their enormous benefits? We bring you a special report on the management of EVs on the back of calls for its adoption. My name is Latte. It's Monday morning. Thank you for joining us. Details of our stories now. The Bank of Ghana says it will not renege on its promise to meet all its debt commitments in the second half of the year. This is the assurance by the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, as he notes that the central bank has enough foreign reserves to make payments, especially for the upcoming $478 million in debt service to the country's Eurobond holders. This comes as Ghana is expected to start honoring its debt service obligations to Eurobond holders after it signed the final agreement with the bondholders on the newly restructured bonds. Addressing the media at the 119th Monetary Policy Committee press briefing, Dr. Ernest Addison noted that the central bank has made provisions for dollar-denominated debt service payments this year.
These are programmed expenditures under the program. I mean, that's part of the IMF program that has been designed, right? When you're designing the IMF program, we're very much aware of payments that are upcoming. If you look at the cash flow projections, the provision has been made for this particular payment. So yes, we have had built up reserves to meet some of these lumpy payments in the outlook.
That was Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, speaking there. Away from that, and the average lending rate of banks has slightly decreased to 31.10% in June 2024, down from 31.15% recorded during the same period last year. There's more in the following report.
According to data from the Bank of Ghana, this decline in borrowing cost aligns with a reduction in the inflation rate starting at 32.94% in January 2024. The average lending rate experienced drops in both February and March, hitting 32.77% and 32.35% respectively. It continued to ease in April, reaching 31.25%. As of June 2024, the Ghana reference rate was at 29.44%. On July 26, 2024, the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee decided to keep the policy rate steady at 29.0%. The central bank cited uncertainties about the inflation outlook for the year, influenced by recent exchange rate pressures, increased utility tariffs, and rising ex-pump fuel prices. However, lending rates can vary significantly among banks and the sectors they serve. While some banks offer loans at the Ghana reference rate, others may charge rates as high as 40%, depending on the customer's risk profile. Meanwhile, the banking sector's performance in the first half of the year points to a continuous recovery from the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. Total assets grew by 33.3% to 323.1 billion Ghana cedis at the end of June 2024, relative to the 21.2% growth recorded at the end of June 2023. However, the industry's non-performing loan ratio increased to 24% in June 2024 from 18.7% the previous year.
Now, the sale of weekly treasury bills to domestic investors fell short of a target by about 700 million cedis. The reduction in the auction of the short-term instrument could largely be due to government's decision to keep yields stable in the last couple of weeks to reduce the cost of servicing the debt instrument going forward. More in the following report.
Simply, the treasury bills market recorded an undersubscription at the last auction. Government missed its target after securing 4 billion cedis as against a target of 4.78 billion cedis. Although majority of the bids came from the 91-day bill, all of the 2.4 billion cedis which was tendered and accepted under the 3-month short instrument was lower than the 2.9 billion cedis tendered and accepted the previous week. The government also received and accepted total bids worth 1.18 billion cedis from investors for the 182-day bill. For the 364-day bill, the government accepted all the bids tendered 477 million cedis. In all, the total amount sold at this auction saw an undersubscription by about 19% as interest rates continued to remain stable on the money market, averaging between 24 and 27%. Market analysts suggest that the undersubscription is mainly due to the significantly higher auction target. Looking ahead, the government plans to lower its borrowing target to 3.86 billion cedis in the next Treasury bill auction.
That was a Business Desk report. You are still listening to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Ni Lati. To more business stories this morning, and stakeholders in the transport and energy sectors are urging the government to prioritize training skilled labor to manage electric vehicles in the country. They believe that this will facilitate a successful transition from fossil fuel vehicles to EVs. My colleague Daniel Odro-Mensah has more in the following report.
The transition to electric vehicles is gradually gaining momentum, with several charging stations established in various locations, including the Total filling station off Liberation Road in Accra, the Kempinski Hotel Gold Coast City, and another near Snit Hospital in Hosu, among others. Despite this gradual transition, Philip Flesher, an auto mechanical engineer specializing in electric vehicle repairs, explains the need for government investment in skilled labor training.
It's very true. Because, unlike the petrol cars, right, much of the parts, the system is low voltage. But over here, we are dealing with high voltage because the motor, for instance, the motor is an AC motor. And the battery pack is DC. It has to be converted from DC to AC. Yeah. So the connection in there, you are dealing with high voltage. So even auto electricians, some of them don't want to work on these cars. When you take there, they wouldn't mind you. And so, yeah, to a degree, like I was saying, everything you can expect from the suspension, anything you can expect from a petrol car, yes. But then when it comes to the motor, the battery pack, it requires some expertise that it's not common in this country.
His comments followed the approval of Ghana's Energy Transition Investment Plan, where the government announced the development of a national electric vehicle policy to create an enabling environment for electric vehicle uptake. The first phase from 2024 to 2026 aims to address challenges to electric vehicle uptake. The second phase from 2027 to 2035 seeks to ensure a successful takeoff with a penetration rate of around 35%. The final phase from 2036 to 2045 will ensure that no new petrol or diesel vehicles are sold or imported into Ghana. The Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana also supports the need for government investment in skill training for electric vehicle operation.
One of the main challenges will be the know-how, the capacity of the Ghanaian electronic repairer, electronician, to be able to handle this particular system. Because unlike our combustion vehicles, where we have a lot of mechanics scattered around and we have the know-how, when your vehicle is faulty, they have easy access, to service centers. But this particular EV system needs a well-trained, labor, to be able to operate it.
Frederick Mensah, a transport owner and fleet manager who has been using an electric vehicle for about 2 years, emphasized the need for the government to drastically reduce import duties on electric vehicles.
What are some of the challenges you think government should look at addressing about this policy of introducing electric vehicles in the system?
The big one is the duty. Yeah. If the duty is looked at, and it was mentioned some time ago by government. Yeah. So if it is looked at and it is reduced drastically, it will make a lot of people do the transition from ICE cars to EV very quick, very, very quick.
The Ghana Private Road Transport Union believes the government should prioritize repairing the poor condition of some roads in the country while introducing electric vehicles.
That report was put together by my colleague Daniel Odro-Mensah. But for more on Ghana's preparedness of electric vehicles, catch the full report later tonight at 8:50 p.m. on CNR Business only on Channel 1 TV. But before I go, let me take you to the forex market today. The dollar could be sold to you at 15 cedis 85 pesos, the pound at 20 cedis 30 pesos, that of the euro going for 17 cedis 60 pesos. And that's it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and Access Bank. For more on our top stories, you can visit our website citinewsroom.com/business. My name is Ni Latte. Do have a good business day.
Live in town, soaking in the excitement about the partnership between Access Bank and PABS, revolutionizing the way people move money across Africa. Let's hear directly from those reaping the benefits.
It's a relief. Anytime I send money back home, my family receives exactly what I send them, instantly.
I'm studying in Ghana, but originally from Nigeria. With this service, my parents send my school and hostel fees directly, and they do it with so much ease.
I run a fashion business. Let me tell you, sending and receiving money across Africa without those annoying forex fees has really cut down our operational costs.
Benefit from instant payments across Africa with zero foreign exchange hassle. Visit our website www.ghana.accessbankplc.com or call our toll free on 0800 00 4400 for all your cross-border payments.
Pass it with Access Bank.
Access Bank, more than banking.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
(7:30). Quick announcement: accident on the Accra Tema motorway, the Tema bound side, few meters after the Toyota center. We understand it's a pile of about 5 cars, and we're urging the police to mount patrol. You know, I was wondering, I think that the police should be on the motorway like more visibly to deal with things like this, because almost every day there's an accident on the motorway and the road has become quite perilous. And also want to urge the police, the tunnel or the cattle tunnel at the Boteman area, it's very, very small, and usually there's a lot of cars trying to use it. I think the police should, as a matter of duty, send a detachment of men and women to try and help regulate that traffic, because it's actually a very serious traffic situation. The tunnel is dark and small, and all those who are coming from the Boteman side who want to get to Tema use the tunnel. Those who are from the Tema, Sakumono, Community 18, who want to also go to Accra, some inevitably use the tunnel. So we want to urge the police to go there. We want them to go there. So the Community 18 connection to the motorway. Some accident occurred a few minutes ago involving about 4 or 5 cars. We understand it's causing traffic, and also generally the tunnel is very traffic prone, and I don't see police there regularly. So Ghana Police, please make it one of your hotspots for your morning drives. 7:14, Kickoff is next. This morning we also have EdTech Monday, so Nathan has a double decker. He's bringing us Kickoff at 7:15, and then he'll be hosting EdTech Monday. What are you talking about today?
Well, today we are talking innovations that are driving efficiencies in the administration of education. So today we are talking to people who manage education and what they are employing to ensure that they are very efficient in their work.
Wonderful, can't wait for that. That's at 9. But before that, Kickoff is brought to you by Goil. No, actually, no, that was the Citi Business News. And Goil has some exciting news for you. It's giving you more options to take you further. Watch this space for your choice. Hit the road with excitement from Goil. And check out your dream locations with Access Bank. We help you book your flight, whether it's Emirates, South African Airways, Air Peace, or Africa World Airlines. Our 55 branch network gives you convenience, easy payments, and security. Pay for your Qatar Airways flights with your Access Bank Visa card and enjoy up to 12% off. Call 0800 004400. Access Bank, more than banking. Get fixed deposit with Lesheho. You heard what was said this morning about T-bills and the rest of it. Well, the Lesheho fixed deposit solution is still giving some great returns. So don't settle for average returns. Join the investment revolution with our fixed deposit solution and take charge of your financial future. Call 027 004 0799. Lesheho, let's improve life.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
So Nathan, fix up the sport.
All right, let's get into Kickoff. Kickoff live on the Citi Breakfast Show, probably brought to us by Charlotte Sheho and Zonda. Coming up in the next 10 minutes, we'll be hearing from Ghanaian swimmer Harry Stacey, and he has been speaking, and we'll also hear from his coach Ralph Quay, talking about Harry Stacey's potential.
It's incredible. I'm incredibly proud. When he joined us 3 years ago, that was always his dream, to represent, to participate in the Special Olympics, and we told him that we have his back.
We'll also be getting updates from the Belgian Grand Prix that Lewis Hamilton won over the weekend.
It's going to go all the way to the checkered flag. One chicane remains. Lewis Hamilton is chasing George Russell all the way to the end of the Grand Prix, but it'll be a Grand Prix claimed inexplicably with driving brilliance from the wheel of George Russell, who takes one of the greatest drives you will ever witness to the top step of the podium. George Russell wins the Belgian Grand Prix.
So all of that happening in Belgium. But let's start off with the Paris Olympic Games. We're going to talk about Team Ghana in a bit. For those who are following, the medals have been falling for some of the teams. Ariana Titmus of Australia, she won the women's 400 freestyle gold medal over the weekend. She beat off competition from Katie Ledecky there of the United States. It was a very, very, very interesting race. 3 swimmers who had shared the world record at different times in the build-up to this particular event in the Olympic Games. In the basketball, the United States, they won their encounter. They beat the Serbians 110-84. And then you had in football, Zambia breaking African hearts. They led 4-2 at a point in that game against Australia, but ultimately they fell by 6 goals to 5 in that encounter. Wonderful game, very open there, but for the Copper Queens it was a very sad day as they could not hold on to the lead and they lost that encounter by 6 goals to 5. In terms of Team Ghana, Harry Stacey, he will be competing tomorrow and he starts off Ghana's run in the competition. He will be taking part in the 100-meter men's freestyle. Team Ghana has 8 athletes there, and the objective is to increase Ghana's medal count from 5 to 6 or more in terms of Ghana's history in the Olympic Games. My colleague Gabi Ofer has been providing further details on Harry Stacey, who's one of Ghana's 2 swimmers. He will be in the men's 100-meter freestyle event tomorrow.
Ghana's Harry Stacey, the top-ranked male swimmer in the country, according to the World Aquatics point table, will compete in a 100-meter freestyle event at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Stacey earned his place with an entry time of 50.67 seconds at the Africa Aquatic Swimming Championships in Luanda, Angola. His recent performances has been impressive, marked by winning his first medal for Ghana at the Ghana African Championships in Angola. Although he did not make it to the podium at the African Games in Accra, his performance at the Baltimore Sports Complex garnered significant attention. A member of the Marlin swim team in Ghana, Stacey will be representing the country at the Olympics for the first time, alongside Giselle Alice Mensah, Ghana's other swimmer for this year's event. Now, the 24 years old, Stacey joined the Marlin swim team 3 years ago with the dream of competing for Ghana on a major stage, a goal that has brought great joy to Ralph Quay, the founder of the Marlin swim team.
It's incredible. I'm incredibly proud. When he joined us 3 years ago, that was always his dream, to represent, to participate in the Special Olympics, and we told him that we have his back. We learned from him, he learns from us, and it's nice to see that the goal was achieved 3 years down the line. I mean, he is incredibly proud of the opportunity to represent Ghana for the Olympics, but I think his training over the years has prepared him for this opportunity. Of course, it's a big stage, so there'll be some nerves, but I think he's calm and ready to conquer and give us his best. So we should look forward to a wonderful performance from Harry Stacey.
Baker Jackson participated in the previous Olympics in Tokyo and Rio 2016. In Tokyo, he set a national Olympic record with a time of 53.39 seconds in the heat. This year, the 27-year-old will not partake in the multi-sport event after exhausting his wild card from the World Aquatics. Regardless of his absence at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, the swimming community in Ghana still regards Abeku Jackson as the country's leading figure in the sport.
Of course, I mean, I'm happy you mentioned the name Abeku. I mean, when we talk of swimming in Ghana, the Jackson's family has done a lot to, keep the sport of swimming. And Abeku has been the face of swimming for the past 10 years now. Yes, it's unfortunate he's not the one representing us this time at the Olympics. All the same, Henry is a very fantastic swimmer, Giselle, fantastic swimmer, and we are happy they are going to represent us. Yes.
Can Harry Stacey match or even surpass Abeku Jackson's achievement at this year's Olympics?
So that was my colleague Gabby Ofair with that report looking at Harry Stacey. So he swims tomorrow at about 9:30 a.m. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated. Staying with Team Ghana news, this time to a different sport, beach soccer. Ghana's Black Sharks, they will be competing in the 2024 edition of the Africa Cup of Nations after beating Cote d'Ivoire in a two-legged encounter. Now they won 10-5 over 2 legs. They came back from 5-2 down to win after getting themselves a 5-3 win in the first leg. So congrats to the Black Sharks. They are going to take part in the beach soccer AFCON, and that's wonderful news. In terms of Ghanaian football news, on grass, the GFA has granted approval for a high-profile friendly to be played between Mediama and Asante Kotoko to mark the inauguration of the new TNA Stadium. It's happening on the 16th of August and it will serve as the official commissioning of the newly constructed stadium. That stadium will be sitting 10,400 people, and it's a wonderful edifice in Takwa and Abosso. We do some pre-season stories, and Manchester United, they lost 2-1 to Arsenal in the United States over the weekend, but they had bigger issues on their hand as Lenny Yoro and Rasmus Højlund picked up injuries, and United are hoping that the test results will come out positive. But let's hear from Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, who was talking about Gabriel Jesus and his impact on the encounter.
He looks really sharp. He's changed a lot of things over the summer. He's come in top condition again. And when you have that baseline, I said all the things can be built, but without that foundation, you don't have a player. And he needs to be in that condition to get the best out of him. He realized that, and I'm really happy what he's shown today again.
When you say he's changed a lot of things, can you give some indication of what that might be?
Well, that's a question for him, but I know that it's a fact, and you can see the way he looks, his rhythm, his sharpness, the way he's moving, and you can see in his eyes as well that there is again some spark there, because he's got now a point to prove, and that's good.
Mikel Arteta, who's Arsenal manager, speaking there after they beat Manchester United 2-1 in that friendly. There was a pre-arranged penalty shootout in that encounter that Man United won by 4-3. Let's end with some F1 news. And Lewis Hamilton, he inherited the victory over the weekend on the Belgium Grand Prix after his teammate George Russell was disqualified 2.5 hours later after taking an unlikely win on the track. For Russell, he had won, like you heard in the initial clip I played, but officials reviewed the tapes and realized that he had broken the rules, and so Lewis Hamilton was promoted from second to first, and he won there. Max Verstappen, he came in fourth with Charles Leclerc finishing third in that particular race. And that's how we end this morning's edition of Kickoff on the Citi Breakfast Show. Kickoff was proudly brought to us by Shell and Let's Share. There's more sports on citisportsonline.com. We've got more news for you in our subsequent bulletins, and later on tonight there's the sports roundup on Channel 1 TV. My name is Nathan Kwal. Many thanks for listening. Do have a fantastic day. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to Let's go. No matter your situation, come to Let's go. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's go, we improve your life. Different cars take different journeys. The strong ones build big cities that people thrive in. The agile ones take us to work there so we can make a little chop chop. The dependable ones are always present in times of trouble. We salute what you do for Mother Ghana. The traditional ones keep society running. And then there are the flashy ones that keep our roads interesting. Oga, we salute you.
No matter your vehicle, every car loves Shell fuels because our most advanced fuels with Dynaflex technology are designed to prevent deposit buildup and keep your engine clean and protected. Fill up and give your car the love it needs for better journeys. Go well.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Gasaba. Smoke from firewood and charcoal is harmful and as damaging to our lungs as cigarettes. It can cause heart diseases leading to stroke and may even affect our eyesight in the long run. Grandmothers, mothers, sisters, wives, men, caterers, and everyone still cooking with charcoal, let's switch to LPG gas. The National Petroleum Authority has introduced the cylinder recirculation model in collaboration with local partners to make gas more accessible in all local communities. Whether you own a cylinder or not, join our CRM initiative. Simply show up at any exchange point near you with a small down payment to receive a filled cylinder or swap your empty one. Regular safety checks will be in place. Say ebisa mo gas. Afedie gasaba. Switch from firewood and charcoal to gas for a better and healthier life. This message is brought to you by the National Petroleum Authority and the Ministry of Energy.
Hey, we see you specking your car, taking that trip, chilling on the beach. Charlie, now we want to see this become your story. Simply use your ABSA card 10 times or more and you'll be entered into a monthly draw where you stand the chance to be among 5 lucky winners to take home 40,000 Ghana cedis. The more you use your card, the more entries you'll receive. Earn an extra entry by using the ABSA app or internet banking 5 times or more. No ABSA card? Don't worry. Visit the nearest branch for an ABSA account or card today and make winning part of your story. Promotion is between 1st July and 31st October. This promotion is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Are you ready for the National Sales Leaders Conference organized by Core Event Solutions and MGA Consulting in partnership with the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana? It is on the 14th to 15th of August, 9 a.m. each day at the Accra International Conference Center. The special guest of honor is the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. Don't miss out. For more information, call or WhatsApp 050-2711-070 or visit www.nslcaccra.org to book a seat now. See you there.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show.
the literacy challenge. So we have 51. It's an interesting reason. Now, the lady who actually left Bolgatanga and got to Accra in time for the exam. Wow. Yeah, very interesting. There are 51 finalists who were the top performers in the stage 1 of the literacy challenge. They also took the aptitude test, and the final 10 would be part of the quiz competition. It's 40k promo campaign for every T-Cross subcompact crossover SUV bought. Save 40,000 CDs. For every Amarok you buy as well, pick up. You save 40,000 CDs. Drive Ghana, drive Volkswagen. Terms and conditions apply. Call VW on 025 795 6688. And retirement is here. You can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest in a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. It's that easy. The best part is you get to enjoy salary increase 16% in 2024. Call Old Mutual 0504 534333. Dial star 789 star 01. Old Mutual, do great things every day. If you're tired of paying exorbitant electricity bills, consider investing in a top-tier solar solution. Ghana's leading solar company, Translight Solar. Highly competitive prices with Translight Solar systems can reduce your electricity cost and escape doomsday permanently. Solar power is no longer just a backup for ECG, a viable everyday energy source. Install a system from Translight and enjoy uninterrupted power supply. We are at 98 Boundary Road, East Legon, between ARS and American House. Call 0504 249 229. Everywhere there's sunlight, Translight. Education gives you a head start in business, in life, in general. There's nearly everything for everyone, from Accra to Nairobi, from London to New York. Graduates are noticed and are leading successful careers. Regardless of what you choose to study, an access education gives you a strong foundation for life. Visit ASHESI or edu.gh to learn more about the Ashesi advantage. Speaking of which, there were a lot of graduations over the weekend. I just want to urge the fresh graduates from all over to go out and make a difference. I think Academic City had a graduation. Gimpa had a graduation. Not too sure if Legon had a graduation, but I saw a lot of cars around. They are producing lots of graduates in various fields. Please, let's go out and shine. Let's be salt and light. Why do I say this? This morning, somebody sent me a message and says, Bernard, you referred to the tunnel at Boteman. And then his message is that it's not even the police necessarily. He says, Bernard, I use that cattle tunnel every day. And this is true. Frankly, the boys who direct the flow are very committed. And they are there as early as 6 a.m. till very late. The disrespect for the boys and the indiscipline of Ghanaians is what causes the chaos. Your call for the police is an order. But is there no way the municipal assembly can regularize these boys into the traffic control system? That's how they make their daily bread. I tip them twice a week because if not for them, there would be more wahala. And this has many, many moving parts. So, fine, the boys are doing a good job, but the police still needs to supervise them. Because there are places where you have people who are not necessarily police supervising traffic, but they are trained and they wear the reflectors and the police supervise. All right. I'm surprised that a tunnel that connects two major parts of the city, the Spintex Sakumono area community 18 to Boteman Ashalibuche to motorway connecting us to Tema proper and Accra, with a tunnel that was meant for cattle with no lighting, is not of interest to the police. I think it's shocking. Anybody who uses the motorway because of the way it's dark, I think the police have overlooked the motorway. They should have police posts on the motorway, just like they have at traffic interchanges. Because no day passes without 3 or 4 crashes. You know, fine. There's a police station close to the motorway, but that's not the same. Police presence is good. It deters lawlessness. And this tunnel ought to have a police, because the way the traffic flows at just during the day, you cannot just have traffic boys control it. And generally, people are less disciplined in the absence of police. So I don't know. Police, please. This is a tunnel that is not a permanent solution, but in its temporariness, we must accord it the utility it provides. So I don't see why the police will not deploy that. They have to. They have to have a permanent deployment at that tunnel to deal with that. And it's also a safety issue. Because the tunnel is so dark and there's no light at night, it becomes a very dangerous place to drive. If you have a broken down vehicle in front of the tunnel, you're probably going to cause a lot of gridlock. So the police must move and work with the MTTD to ensure that that place gets the attention it deserves. The motorway, I know you've spoken about it a lot. I just want to say that whoever thought it was a good idea to asphalt concrete, to put asphalt on concrete, it took less than 6 months to prove it was not such a great idea. I need to confess that when they did it, I was on there saying, wow, this is great.
Yeah, I felt good, honestly.
Yeah. It just tells you that piecemeal solutions and not well thought through solutions will not really solve our problems. So some things may give you relief today, but because, go for it. I use the motorway regularly. I was in Afienya on Saturday and I was in Tema on Sunday. So I use the motorway, I think, twice going, twice coming. What the asphalt has done is that it's made it more dangerous to use the stretch that we were being saved from. Because now I think the expansion of the asphalt with the sunlight has built this deep, I don't know what to call them, crevices in the motorway. And you don't see them early. So you can actually burst a tire. Before they did that, you knew that that place was a dangerous place, so you slow down. But a lot of cars speed, particularly on the inner lane, thinking that they are on asphalt. Look, you can have a big car crash because coupled with the dangerous gullies created by the asphalt, there is a big drain which has no railing.
Yeah.
So if you're driving at night and you see a pothole later and you want to swerve, you could actually fall into that big thing. It's very dangerous. And then there are people who cross that road every day because now communities on the sides of the motorway have increased. So highways, I want us to talk about who gave you the idea to put asphalt on motorway. I just want us to discuss it. Why? What happened? Is it somebody who did a sign that you got wrong? Was it a mixture? Was it the sunlight that expanded it? Was it that you didn't obey the axle load? Because the other issue we don't deal with, you see, we have a big axle load station. There's one on the motorway and there's one on the outskirts of the Community 22 when you're going to Afienya. Now, I think they need to be audited. I think that the axle, because you see, we see different trucks. In Ghana, we are not standardized. We see Burkina Faso trucks. They look different from the ones from Ghana. They are wider and the tires are a different color. I'm not sure if the axle load, if it's being obeyed, our roads will deteriorate that quickly. Because you see, roads are made for different weights. When I pass at the axle load thing, I just look at them. Of course, I've not driven a big truck before, but I suspect it's possibly business as usual. If your roads are breaking up that quickly, you have to find a way to check if the guys who are measuring the weight of these vehicles are doing their job. And I have reason to believe that they are not. So let's bring them into the equation. But highways, let's talk. Why did you put bitumen on concrete? Because you can't mix two immiscible things. So where do you get the idea from? You know, I want us to talk about it. So send me a message. Ahmed. Oh, Ahmed is ministry.
Yeah, it's
Ahmed is ministry. Okay. So who is highways? Is this Cecil Wentum? Cecil, please tell me, why did you put asphalt on concrete? What were you trying to achieve? While we're thinking about that, we'll take you to the north. NDC launched their campaign. We'll bring you some highlights, interesting speeches. We'll discuss that within the context of Kweku Kwarteng advising the MPP, he says, if you want to break the 8, you have to break the norm. And he says the norm of campaigning and the way the MPP, possibly even the NDC, the way the political parties, but he spoke more about the MPP, the way they campaign, emphasizing the ills of their opponent and exaggerating their accomplishments. He thinks that the electorate will not buy that anymore, that the electorate is more discerning, and that sometimes, or not sometimes, now politicians need to speak the truth so that people will accept reality more. So he's basically saying his party has mastered a certain style of campaign which worked in the past, but he doesn't think will work today.
And that the economy has been run like a Ponzi scheme.
It's an example of what he was trying to say. So he used the economy as an example of the bigger message. Yeah. So I know we media, we like headlines. So it's like, of all the things he said, economy is running like a Ponzi scheme is what we caught. But if you listen to what he's saying in the article, he's basically saying that in the past, you campaign by saying, I did a great job and you are bad, which is generally how all politicians campaign everywhere. He's saying that a bit more humility, a bit more realism could. So the question to the Ghanaian electorate is, would you vote if a party said, would you vote if a party comes in and doesn't promise as much and does more realism? It's like if we come, we're going to increase fuel prices, or we will not give you, right? So is it our politicians telling us things we want to hear because we have itchy ears? Or whose responsibility is it? Do we reward politicians who tell us the truth? I think it's a very interesting question that the manifesto article also brings, that if a politician comes and says, okay, if I win in 2024, I can't guarantee that fuel prices will come down. But what I can guarantee is that will be transparent. I can't guarantee that the cedi will not fall against the dollar. But what I can guarantee is that we'll be honest and transparent in how we manage it. I don't know whether people will let's think about that while we do this. So think about that as a Ghanaian driving to work this morning. If a politician came and said, look, your roads will remain bad for a while, right? Your roads, so like I was at Afienya this weekend, okay? I used the motorway to, they call it Kakasunaka, Ashaiman Runabout, Community 22, Afariwa. I mean, it was horrible. It was really horrible. Up until I left Gulf City area. It was horrible. All right. And when I was coming back, Google told me I'll spend 17 more minutes in traffic if I were to use the main road. So I went inside to appear at what's Ivy's area? That place. 25, some place. So if a politician says, look, if we come, we cannot guarantee your road will be fixed, would you vote for them? What because when we say we want people to be honest, what are we saying? Because our politicians promising us things because that's what we want to hear, when we know we can't meet them, because the analysis in the graphic is talking about that. So let's jump into that shortly after we do a couple of quick announcements.
Well, yes, this is for the mothers out there who are always fighting their kids because they go out and play and get their clothes dirty. Worry no more, because the new Omo is on the market. It's packed with powerful stain removal properties and it's extra gentle on the hands and has a unique sweet smelling fragrance. So go out there, grab Omo and use that, either Omo hand wash or Omo auto for machine wash. Omo powerful stain removal with long lasting fragrance. It's what, $7.46. You want to take something this morning, I recommend Twisco. It's made from a premium blend of cocoa powder and enriched with energy boosting vitamins and minerals, and it comes from the good people of Cowbell, so you're getting a quality product. Start your day with a cup of the great tasting Twisco and power your dream. This ad is FDA approved.
Bernard, Absa Bank is doing amazing things, helping young entrepreneurs expand their businesses. They give collateral-free loans of up to 500,000 Ghana cedis with a 10% annual interest rate, and this is the best on the market. So for all budding entrepreneurs seeking the next chapter in their stories, visit any Absa branch to speak to someone to help guide you on your journey, because at Absa, your story matters. And for whatever you need money for, use your Absa card 10 times or more in a month, and you could be a lucky winner in the Absa Change Your Story promotion and extra entries by using our digital channels 5 times or more. From now until the end of October, 5 lucky winners will take away 40,000 each every month to change their stories. For more information, visit an ABSA branch today. This promotion is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA, your story matters.
Now, if you want a British degree at a fraction of the cost, you want a vibrant student experience in a community that equips you with useful employability skills, taking you on one step closer to the career of your dreams, you can enjoy all these and more with up to 50% scholarship for your degree at Lancaster University, Ghana. Be taught by the finest faculty trained to UK standards at our campus. For more information, call 020-960-7008 or visit lancaster.edu.gh for more information.
Now, if you're dreaming of going to Dubai, then you can make it a reality with Global Wings Travel and Tours. They have a 6-day all-inclusive tour either in August 5th to 11th or in September 15th to the 21st, and it includes a wonderful package of, breakfast, dinner, getting hotels, return air ticket, going to visit all the nice places in Dubai. If you are interested, call or send a WhatsApp message to 0550-188-181. And if you're an international trade and you need financial help and support, the Bank of Africa is here for you. They've got tailor-made trade finance solutions for you to help you move your business to the next level. Call them on 0302-249-690 or visit any of their branches nationwide. Bank of Africa, strong as a group, as close as a partner. And Zenith Bank is saying that you can get the opportunity to go to Paris and enjoy watching the Olympic Games on their tab. All you need to do is spend a minimum of 3,000 cedis on at least 5 transactions and win that amazing prize. Use your Zenith card for all your payments and enjoy the Olympic Games in France. T's and C's apply. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
All right, so it's 11 minutes to 8. We'll bring you Tech and Shamina Trend Short. Let me read this article. It's just 2 pages. I'll just read it for you and then I'll take your comments. To break the 8, we must first break the norm. 25th July 2024, Kuku Kwating MP. Now, he says Ghana's Fourth Republic has given 8 years to the ruling parties, not more. Beyond the loyalists of the various political parties, voters believe that when one political party governs for some time, they must leave for another party to come. That voter belief is coming from something we hear all the time. All politicians are the same. Let one go and let another come. We, MPP, are looking to break the 8. It's an expectation coming at a time when hostile external factors have imposed considerable hardships on the average Ghanaian voter. But it is not just external factors that threaten our chances of electoral victory. The economic problems Ghana is facing today at both the national level and in households are also the cumulative effects of many decades spanning different governments, of the bad politics and economic mismanagement that have characterized the governance of our country. Since independence, we've survived by constantly overspending our means and borrowing to finance the overspending. And many of these expenditures are just bad prioritization. We always offer higher interest to lenders, borrow more, use a part to repay previous debts, and the rest to pay for the current year's overspending. So we have been running our country's economy like a Ponzi scheme. The economy is struggling today because lenders are refusing to lend to us. It's just like a Ponzi scheme going into crisis once people stop depositing their monies with them. Many Ghanaians, myself included, worry that if we continue along the path we've been walking, our democracy will collapse, and with it, all our political parties. To save our country from this looming danger, the political class must acknowledge this reality and change behavior. And we don't have time. Since independence, the political norm has been that a political party going into an election must sing praises of its past achievements and make high-sounding promises for the future. At the same time, a political party must paint its opponents in the worst possible light. We have mastered this art, and in the process, we have forgotten that politics should be about the future of our children and our motherland. We have reduced election campaigns to bitter struggles between competitors seeking for power for the wrong reasons. It is this primitive political culture that has led to the belief that all politicians are the same and produced the 8-year cycles we are seeking to break. To break the 8-year, therefore, we must first break the norm by doing the following. 1. Acknowledge the past and present failures of the political class to provide the kind of quality leadership required to avert the mess in which we find our country today. 2. Adopt deep and far-reaching reforms to address the decades of bad politics and economic mismanagement. We must convince voters that we shall be ruthless in our determination to fix the country, that we will stay the course no matter the challenges, and that there shall be no sacred cows. 3. We must lead by example. As a precondition for any reforms, we must demonstrate the sacrifices we make as politicians. We must demonstrate the sacrifices we shall make as politicians to convince our people that we are in this together. We must address concerns about how much of our national resources we spend on ourselves as politicians and take steps to overhaul the corrupt public procurement regime we inherited from previous governments and have continued to live with. 4. Once we lead by example, we can say with integrity to our people that we are sinking in a common boat and call all Ghanaians to duty. As a political party, if we sincerely believe and can demonstrate our faithfulness to these commitments, breaking the 8 will follow naturally. Signed, Kweku Kwanting MP. So that's his comment. Yeah, his letter, 2-page.
Sky knows him best. He can start.
I wanted you to link it to this.
Okay, so
link it to this first.
Yes, the story on page 32 from the newspaper review this morning. Daily Graphic, experts call for campaign promises scrutiny, and the story basically sought the view of 4 experts to discuss the promises that have been made on the campaign trail in Ghana. So, for instance, Professor Jeffrey Haynes from the London Metropolitan University said so far he had been intrigued by the 24-hour economy policy advanced by the Mahama campaign. Quote, so far, the 24-hour economy, the pledges to curb corruption, and the pleas to avoid electoral violence have caught my attention. Senior political science lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Kwesi Amachi Boateng, political scientist and columnist of the Daily Graphic, Dr. Samukufi Dakwa, and political science lecturer at the University of Education, Winnipeg, Gilbert Ahimfo Edu, in a separate interview, said the messages on corruption, the economy, and jobs were expected as the nation headed to the polls. Quote, the problem is that the people are likely to buy into the rhetoric and be swayed by lofty promises. This is from Dr. Amachi. Generally, people talk about propositions that outline strategies to address the country's economic problems. They normally talk about policies. However, stressed that historically outlining brilliant policies hasn't necessarily translated into real economic success, adding that examples abound in developing countries in general and Ghana in particular. Quote, Dr. Baumia continues with the rhetorics, and former President Mahama does seem to some extent, Dr. Amachi Boateng said. However, in his encounter with the media, former President Mahama gave some indication that he would be operating with a disciplined government. He openly stated that his appointees would not purchase state property and neither participate in Galamsey, which is illegal mining, If he should be able to demonstrate this in government, Ghana would be on the road to a major breakthrough. The story then goes on to list Baumia's promises and Mahama's promises. So
it summarizes the 10?
Yes,
10?
Yes.
Can you see them?
Yes, I can see them clearly.
So let's run through quickly.
So on Baumia's side, digitalization will underpin development efforts, revamp Agric by offering inputs, support, including tractor services to farmers, etc., implement fixed tax rate to encourage business growth, reduce import duties, reduce the cost of electricity, set up chieftaincy fund to pay traditional rulers, including sub-chiefs and queen mothers, reduce size of government, ministerial appointments will be no more than 50, ensure 100% Ghanaian ownership of local mineral resources, increase salaries of public sector workers by cutting government expenditure to create the necessary fiscal space to accommodate increased salaries of public sector workers, safeguard the public purse. On the Mahama side of things, 24-hour economy, to underpin the resettling of the economy to create jobs and encourage exports, set up Women's Bank, that's empower women through low-interest credit facility, improve free senior high school, remove the double track system, allow private schools to participate in the policy, etc., invest in Agric, set up farmer support service centers, fight corruption, enforce accountability, reduce size of government to not more than 60, fight Galamsey, decentralized small-scale mining licensing, continue constitutional review process to improve the constitution, strengthen institutions, including the judiciary and parliament, enhance the work of anti-corruption agencies such as Office of the Special Prosecutor, Economic and Organized Crime Office, etc., improve the health system by uncapping the NHIS fund, implement primary health care policy, etc.
Okay, so those are a summary. So this is asking us to scrutinize the promises, but Kweku Kwanting is saying that the MPP needs to sort of be a bit more honest with Ghanaians in what it says. If Ghanaians if they are to break the deal, Ghanaians must trust the party more. And the way the campaigning is done and the messaging that is put out, he doesn't think is going to convince Ghanaians. So whilst he was writing to the MPP, you can also say this is generally to politicians. Right? Because he says Ghanaians, when they get tired of one party, they change. The politicians are the same. So it's like politicians, people don't really trust the politicians, but they just do a merry-go-round because they feel like you have chopped some, let somebody come and chop some. So if a party wants to break that thing, then people must say, this government is actually good for me. So even though things are hard, I'll vote for them. That's what he's trying to say. Okay. So, Sky, you described this as pissing in, and I know you were using, I'm not sure why you used that word, probably because of the spill thing. You know, why did you use, he wrote a letter, he's advising his party, why are you calling it pissing in? You know, it sounds like, I'm not sure why, just what is pissing in about this? Instead they should tell the truth. What's pissing in about that?
Let me put it this way. You know, Kweku Kwatun is a respected, economic mind. On any day, he's a solid man with the competence to do what he does, speak to the economy, and then also service people and engage in politics every now and then. And I've engaged him on various platforms, speaking to him and interviewing him on the economy and those other things. Mind you, he previously served, he's not just some guy emerging from nowhere. He served under John Kufuor's government as a spokesperson on the economy. So he became a deputy minister under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government. You will remember too that when the government's mandate was renewed, he was not returned as a deputy minister. Of course, there were suggestions that he ought to have been elevated to the status of a full minister or perhaps a minister of state. Somehow that did not happen. He became the chairman of the Finance Committee in Parliament.
Which is not a small position.
Well,
it's a significant position.
It is a significant position, but it depends on what you as a person want to do.
I argue that chairman of Finance Committee can be more powerful than a deputy minister depending on the circumstance.
But not as powerful as the minister in many respects, at least depending on how you look at it. Some would die for a minister for finance.
Functioning, chairman of Finance Committee will be very powerful.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. It depends on how you look at it. So some people suggest that he did not like that movement. Ideally, given what he's done in the past and given that he's been returned to Parliament, if the government was faithful to him, they should have rewarded him with an elevation from deputy minister status to the position of minister, full minister. However, of course, there are those who suggest that he was not sort of in the good books of some people within the circles of power, and therefore they did everything possible to eliminate him from the finance ministry. Which would explain some of the difficulties he's had with the leadership of the majority in Parliament. Some would tell you that there are, for instance, the very recent issues that engaged the public attention was his stance that certain tax proposals should not go through. The one having to do with the
tax exemptions.
The exemptions.
I think they were initially 400 million.
Exactly.
Became 300.
Mind you, he had written some articles surrounding the subject matter. And some people say that he's being pious, projecting himself as someone who believes that he's holding the government accountable, when in fact it may be a legacy, grievance he may hold over his lack of...
So some people in the MPP may question his motives.
Exactly. So if you look at it like that, while it is safe to say that, look, this is a man who perhaps after all these years in government and then also all these years as a member of Parliament is reflecting positively on what we have as a country and has come to realize on hindsight that, look, we have done things not in the right way. This is the way to move forward. Others will say that no. He is only speaking now because, well, he's not a minister or he's not being rewarded with his service to the republic or the government. So that is one way of looking at it. But are there also positives that he's pointed out or negatives that he's pointed out, which we have to dwell on as a people? Of course.
So I'll take your comment on that. Just summarize it in a minute before I do my break. So you've given me the first side, which is the issue around what people could perceive as his motive. But when we come back here, I want you to deal with the substance of what he says in terms of whether they are true or not. And then we'll link that to what happened over the weekend. NDC campaigning, launched their campaign in Tamale, lots of interesting speeches, and a lot of that around promises and things. Time for Tech and Social Media Trends 802 is brought to us by two big sponsors,
Telecel and also First Bank Ghana. If you're ready to be the next millionaire in town, Telecel More Money promo is getting exciting. 2 lucky winners have been rewarded 30,000 Ghana cedis each this week at Medina and Ahafo in the weekly draw. What are you waiting for? 1 million grand prize is up for grabs, and it could be you. Simply reload your mobile using your Telecel cash wallet and be part of the daily and weekly draws where you could win up to 30,000 Ghana cedis every week. Purchase data or airtime using your Telecel cash wallet and double your chances. Making payments onto your fixed broadband also gives you a chance to be the next millionaire. The more you reload, the better your chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. To opt in for free, dial *500# or send WIN to 500 or visit the Telecel Play app. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Telecel, connecting energies. Now, your biggest dreams start small, so this long vacation, enroll your children or words on the First Bank Ghana Junior Internship Program from July 15th to September 15, 2024. Enable them gain valuable work experience. All you need to do is to sign up your children or wards for the Kids First account designed for children up to the age of 12, or for the Me First account made for teenagers aged 13 to 17. Make an initial deposit of 300 Ghana cedis in their accounts and apply. What will happen is that they can get 5 exciting days internship at any of our branches. To find out more about the First Bank Ghana Junior Internship Program, please call 0596 921 921. Email us firstsolutions@firstbankgroup.com. First Bank Ghana, you first.
All right, so let's jump into the segment. It's Nathan. Wow. What's trending, my brother?
Well, several things. It's been a very heavy weekend.
Yes,
so let's
please.
start off from the top of the trends. #BB Niger is trending. Big Brother is back. So you can imagine the followers of Big Brother are very happy.
People still following that.
Bro, people
watch down and be watching people shy and do all the things they
but
do.
people like it. People like the drama that comes with it. Drama is always a good selling point for TV and radio. So people love BB Niger. So the housemates were, they go into the house, people are talking about that. So other things.
Let's create good programs, give an alternative.
Anyway, to other things that are trending on the entertainment side of things, Kweku Menu, the actor, a Kumawood actor, is also trending. Over the weekend, he was on UTV's entertainment program, commenting on a number of things, and he said something that was very striking. He was talking about this credit rating thing, and he said, in his opinion, he felt jobs were more important. If people had more jobs to do, they would be better off. So government's priority should not be on creating a credit system. It should be creating more jobs for people to have more money, and so they can live decent lives.
People are debating it.
People are debating it and all of that.
Credit score matter.
Yeah, credit score. I mean, sorry, not credit rating. Credit score. So that's Kweku Menu's thoughts. To the Olympics. And South Sudan
I was
trending.
watching archery yesterday.
Yeah.
Between China and Indonesia women, and then China and Mexico. There was a 16-year-old Mexican archer or archeress. I love archery. I love Olympic Games for that. You call it again?
That's
right.
It was
really
the Chinese were nailing the tents like brutal. I was like, why can't Ghana go? I mean, we
bring them from the north.
We should pick some of the guys from Tuhaji. Why should Mexico and China be doing again? We can't do.
We use tie to kill bears and Lisa.
And there are so many medals available there.
This year,
Ghana Bow and Arrow Association.
This year, the new sports they added was break dancing.
Oh Lord!
So Charlie.
Oh Lord, Sky.
Break dancers.
Bring the people from the north.
We have so many artists in the north. Even in the south.
Yes.
It's sad.
Anyway, so staying with the Olympics, South Sudan is trending. Kevin Durant is trending. Serbia is trending. And Joel Embiid, all of them. So South Sudan, they won their basketball game. Really good. They are a really good team. The Americans also beat Serbia. Kevin Durant top scored, and people are talking about that. But also in line with the Olympics, following Friday's opening ceremony, the term Christianity is trending. Why? Now, some Catholic priests all over the world have reacted very raw or sharply to
the caricature of
Charlie. The depictions.
There's a fine line between art and also So everybody has a sacred thing, right? And the way they depicted the Last Supper and the characters, you can say it was artistic expression, but if you look at it from a Christian point of view, it was not fair.
Yeah, some Catholic priests were very upset.
And for France, a country with such a strong Catholic heritage, to use the Paris Olympics to do that, it will be very offensive.
The connoisseurs of history and civilization say, look, they are saying that, listen, it's artistic impression and that the Olympic Games itself was steeped in a lot of paganism. You get it?
I get it.
The Olympics didn't come from a Christian perspective. So people are saying, listen,
France,
don't do that.
The heritage of having the Notre Dame Cathedral in the background and to do that.
Well, anyway, the debate will continue. Just quickly to some tech news. And our very good friends at OpenAI, right? Yes, the ChatGPT people. They say that now they are stepping up the AI game. Why? Because they are planning on introducing a search engine to rival Google search. Okay, now the company is testing Search GPT, which will combine AI technology with real-time information from the web to allow people to search for information in the same way they talk to Chat GPT. Now, they have been thinking about this for a while, and so now they are ready to put it out there as a rival to Google Search.
You know, busy. Taking social media trends with Nathan. Let's go.
Since 1894, we've witnessed the evolution of a brand and proudly partnered with its people on the path to prosperity. From the ink-stained ledgers of the past to the lightning-fast transactions of today, First Bank has consistently adopted, embracing innovation while cherishing the legacy of our heritage and making giant strides across the globe. It's not just about banking, it's about enabling your success generation after generation. Our legacy defined the past, shaped the present, and in 2094, we will still be fostering financial security and stability for future generations. We are helping to create a future where the possibilities are infinite, the opportunities borderless, and where the world looks up to Africa. Let's awaken the giant in you. You first. First Bank.
The era of playing small is officially over. It's time to scale up and evolve. It's time to connect with opportunities that unlock bigger possibilities. Whether you're a startup with a big idea or a company ready to shake things up, Telecel is your partner. This is a world where partnerships thrive, visions become reality, and goals are achieved. We turn sparks into flames, dreams into realities, because when energies connect, incredible things happen. Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-334040 or email business@telecel.com.ga to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Hi, Mom, it's me, Kwame.
Hey, Kwame, how are you?
Mom, I'm fine, oh.
Okay.
You know,
Should politicians minimize the promises and give us a better dose of reality? Do we prefer that? Do they give us these nice promises because we have itchy ears?
5 on Friday,
That's the issue for the morning. In the meantime, we're urging the police to run a patrol on the motorway, part of a motorway. Lots of traffic caused by road crashes. The tunnel at Boteman Spintex area needs police attention. All of that and more on the show this morning. A few quick announcements before we jump in. Don't forget 9 o'clock is EdTech Monday. Nathan Kraus in the hot seat. Innovation and education is brought to you by the Mastercard Foundation with support from the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology and Citi FM. Nathan's guests are who and who and who?
Well, we have Mr. Fako Disu. Fako Disu. He is with the Ghana Education Service. Fako Disu. He is with the Ghana Education Service, Deputy Director of Education, Schools and Instructions Division. We've got Leah Nduati, who's an accelerator leader, ALX Ventures, and Dr. Emmanuel K. Labimante.
Wonderful.
He's a General Secretary to the Center for Professional Development Training and Education.
And we're looking at innovation.
Yes, we are talking innovations driving efficiencies in education administration.
I'm sure you make it exciting. In the meantime,
Omo is saying that if your child goes out to play, don't be upset. Let them play. Let them run around. Let them make the clothes dirty, because Omo is here with powerful stain removal properties, and it's now gentle on your hands. So get the new Omo, either for Omo hand wash or the Omo Auto for machine wash, and you'll be very happy. Omo powerful stain removal with long-lasting fragrance.
And Bernard, if you are looking for university education out there, think about Heritage Christian University College. We promote creativity and innovation. Over the period, we have spent 450,000 Ghana cedis on our students as startup grants, and we are big on entrepreneurship, technology, and practical learning with professional certification. We have varied courses including BA Psychology, BBA Accounting and Finance, and many more. We have master's programs as well. To qualify, you must be a WASI, ABCE or GBCE holder, or HND diploma holder, or a mature student of 25 years or more. Heritage Christian University College is affiliated to KNUST and UCC, and we are accredited by GTech. We are behind the Olympic Sports Stadium at Amasama, and call us on 0547 777 731 or 020 229-8399. Visit our website www.hcwc.edu.gh. Now, your living room deserves class, warmth, and memory for your family, friends who visit your home. That's why Ash Foam produces a masterclass range of sofas and couches to fit in every corner and space in your living room or balcony. Visit our showrooms across the country and delight yourself with Ash Foam. Call us on 0243 200 729 or 0559 027 907, or visit our showrooms in all the big malls and other locations near you. Free delivery to your doorstep. Please be mindful of internet fraudsters. We have an ISO certification. Be an Ash Foamer now.
Few quick comments on the issue. Good morning, Bernard. Kuku Kwakti makes a good point. I've been in the development game for a bit, and I agree with him. Our politics should become one of honesty. See, the political elite and what they do with power at the top is the beginning of our problems. We need the government to focus on policies that open up our development. When done well, the space will open up. The constitution needs to be reviewed. After over 30 years, a lot has happened in our development landscape. We need a different constitution that takes lots of power and governance decisions and appointments away from the presidency. The next will be for assemblies and municipalities to work. Let DCs be voted for or appointed by a non-political board based on merit. Look at our public universities and how well organized in terms of infrastructure and development. These spaces include VRA settlements, are run by Ghanaians. So why can't our assemblies work like that? Let assemblies collect tolls and taxes on property and champion infrastructure development at that level, just like the public universities. If I see my locality develop, I will pay my taxes and tolls due my assembly. Government should allow assemblies to take the pressure off building gutters and roads, etc. It is not supposed to be that difficult, but Charlie, looks like we just like chaos in this country. We cannot rely on business as usual and expect things to turn in the right direction. So that's from a listener. All right. Let me take. Let me take. So you've made a point that the first issue is some may feel he's talking. It's rich for him to say this because he's no longer a minister. Now he's a bit on the outskirts. He may feel aggrieved, so they may see it that way. But you were saying that on the other hand, something before I cut.
Yeah. So on the other hand, he's the majority spokesperson on the economy. That's his new role now.
Okay. From finance ministry to finance economy.
Yeah. So he's now the chairman, or the position of the majority, as stated these days on matters of the economy, will be stated through him. So when he's speaking, we should measure him by those standards. Now, what are the key things he says that jump at me, which I think we should take seriously? First of all, he talks about the fact that the Ghanaian economy has been historically mismanaged and run as though it is akin to a Ponzi scheme. I agree fully with him, because all these years in Parliament, close to 20 years, serving as a reporter, I have seen consistently debt or loan agreements brought before the House, poorly scrutinized in many cases by MPs, and approvals granted without asking the hard questions. Even where the hard questions are thought to be asked, they are motivated by partisan interests as opposed to what is in the national interest. So there are times that loan documents will come, questions as to how previous loans were expended. Those hard questions are not asked. MPs do not insist that, look, you should bring us a document, an analysis of what you used the previous funding for, how much we have achieved with the previous funding, what were the things that went wrong, and why you think that this time around, if we approve, the resources will be put to good use. You don't see that. You see the arguments made, oh, bring it. The minister will say, we'll bring it. Then the thing dies down. Nothing gets done. And he says that we've been borrowing, to pay for past borrowings that we have done.
Part of the money is used to pay for interest.
Exactly.
And then,
I mean, who runs an economy like that? In other countries, when they go onto the international market to borrow, the expectation and what gets done is to invest in capital, expenditure, which is capable of paying for itself. So that they take money and say, okay, we are building a rail line from here to Tamale or to the extreme north of the country. And that's going to cost us some $15 billion US. We expect that within the next 20 years, that rail line should be able to pay for itself. You understand? So when such an investment is made, my kids, when they grow up and they are paying for it, they know that there's something they are paying for, and it delivers the value that the framers of that particular architecture promised. But in this particular case, what is happening? He tells us, as a former chairman of the Finance Committee, that we borrow to pay for borrowing we had done in the past. That is not how to run an economy. And Parliament, given its functions as the controller of the public purse, should be asking critical questions, because that's why the Constitution mandates them under Article 178 to be doing, to ensure that we align borrowing with what is in the interest of the Ghanaian people. That is not done.
So he says we borrow is too expensive too.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We go for loans with high interest, and then we spend the money to clear previous debt, and then we don't also use the money for the right things. That's a big point. Second issue.
The second issue, he also points to the question of how campaign promises are prosecuted. It is now you and I. Oh, you have done it badly. I can do it better. So that kind of thing. Without aligning whatever we are promising with the bigger picture of where Ghana wants to be. If you look at the UNDP's, National Development Planning Commission's, we have an agenda which will span 2017 to 2050.
So plan.
Exactly. Which is to get us to where we want to be as a country. But have we honestly asked ourselves whether the political parties have aligned properly their promises with what is in that document?
Very good question.
We started at some point with Kwame Nkrumah's 7-year development plan, which was properly prosecuted.
Yes.
There were subsequent, development programs. Of course, I remember that
Vision 2020.
Vision 20.
Ban Radio also came to do a 50-year plan.
Exactly.
But every new government sort of this continues the previous one.
They just mess it up.
They don't. They start their own.
So meanwhile, the Constitution encouraged the setting up of the National Development Planning Commission for a purpose.
Yeah.
When you ask the American, they tell you about the American dream, which is what? Godfrey can tell us the details of what it means to say that we are living the American dream. But what is the Ghanaian dream? And how do the political parties in this country align their vision with that? One village, one dam. What was the purpose of that? And how did that fit into the whole discussion about making Ghana where it has got to be? The idea of what you call free senior high school, it is brilliant within the architecture of our constitution.
Yeah.
We want to ensure progressively free education, right? At almost all levels. Exactly. The question is whether the framers intended it to be prosecuted in this particular fashion, and how does it fit into the development agenda. So when Kweku Kwatin talks about us dragging each other down, making all kinds of...
So let me summarize. It says the basic way the campaign is done is Bernard is campaigning against Sky. Bernard will say Sky is the worst in government.
Yes.
And then I was in power before. I'll say my record was better. If I'm the incumbent, I'll say my record is better without admitting that I made some mistakes. Yeah. So usually I will exaggerate my achievements and exaggerate your failures. And then you also do the same.
Exactly.
And he says that doesn't really lead to the honesty we want.
Yeah. To summarize on that, you see, I think what the political parties should be doing is to say that, look, this is what the National Development Planning Commission says we should achieve. My strategy to helping us achieve that got us about 70% towards achievement of that. The agenda being proposed by the opposition doesn't get us to that particular mark, and therefore keep me in power or vote me back into power. What we have now is people creating their own fantasies as to what Ghana should look like and then forcing it on the rest of the citizens. And I don't think that helps us. Kweku Kwatin makes the point nicely.
So the point about campaign, though, Sky, if you look at our recent political history, then based on the first point you made, do you not think that he will be either victimized or targeted or... Like, you know, it's... In fact, before I even get there, you said something which is connected, but you didn't get it. The first thing you said was that he was spokesperson under Akufo, deputy minister under Akufo-Addo 1, and then he went into parliament fully in Akufo-Addo 2. Now, you also then said in your second submission that our parliament have agreed very obnoxious loan agreements to go through. Now, I want to link the two to say, maybe the reason why 2 occurs is because Kweku Kwatin was in government in the first place. So if from 2017 he was just an MP and there was no prospect of being a deputy minister because the law debars him or the president is going to appoint him, and his job is to just make sure that the people of Obuasi are represented and that the legislature becomes a check on the government. And then we add what he tried to do as finance committee, where some people said he tried to block the exemptions because they were too high. Putting the two together, it tells you that the reason the parliament is weak is because people like Kweku Kwatin can only speak after they come out of government. As in, he couldn't have said this when he was a deputy minister. Do you follow my logic? So he's unshackled like this because now he's in parliament. Nobody can remove him from parliament. He probably has no post in the government and he doesn't going to get one. So if you want the parliament to do what you said in point 2,
let's not
don't put people like him in government. You see my logic? Because those who say he's coming out to speak like this could say he's doing it out of bitterness or whatever, but I feel like it's more, if you are in government as a deputy minister or a minister, it will be out of place to go to cabinet meeting and take part in all those sensitive discussions and then come on and write an article and say whatever, we are running a Ponzi scheme. What are you talking about? It's like it will be some way. But now that if he was an MP, even MP, he can say, well, I'm not here to do the bidding of the quote-unquote Akufo-Addo government. I'm a member of the MPP. And my loyalty is to the country, of course the party, but also the people of Obuasi. So maybe your points are linked in a way that you didn't intend, but they actually answered the question of if he were not a minister, and if a lot of him were not ministers, we would have had more of such views, not just being expressed in letters, but they would then be followed up with their positions on things like tax exemptions, bad loans we take which may not have favorable terms. Do you get me? So because if I'm lobbying to be a minister, I don't think I want to be saying such things.
You see, principles are principles, and they don't change over time on the basis of a shift in status, in my respectful view. If he believed that what he's saying today is what has always been the case with him, then he may as well not have even accepted ministerial appointment. Or even when he did, he ought to have insisted on the right things being done. Because many of the prices, is that the correct way of expressing it?
Yeah.
The price we pay today,
yeah,
there is a direct connection with what he did together with his boss as a deputy minister. They were the people who ate the kinky. They went onto the international, stage to collect all the loans that they took, the Eurobond and all the things they celebrated.
This kinky matter pay you, pal.
And when we said it, they said we didn't wish the country well. You understand? So he doesn't now just move into parliament and now says that, And when you look at the statement, he doesn't make that admission that, I was part of the people who created the problem.
No, it says we politicians.
Bring me the statement. Let me show you something. Godfrey, you have the statement there.
Yes, please.
There was when it was important for him. He said Ghanaians like us. Somewhere in the statement.
No, but he does use we a lot.
He's out of we.
No, hold on.
Which part are you trying to?
Somewhere in the statement, many Ghanaians, myself included, worry that if we continue along the path we have been walking on, our democracy will collapse.
Yeah.
And with it, all our political parties. To save our country from this looming danger, the political class must acknowledge this reality and change behavior. And we don't have time. So that was when he decided to talk about excluding himself and joining us.
Sky, let's remember something. So you've made a very important point about ideals and principles not changing.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to balance that by saying the reality of holding certain positions precludes you from taking certain positions. You have to balance the two. Right. But when Kuku was offered 16 February 2024, supporting the work of government from Parliament, let me read it.
Yeah.
Following media reports that I have declined an invitation to serve in the executive arm of government, I find it necessary to clarify these publications as follows. First of all, I'm thankful to the President for the opportunity he provided me to serve as Deputy Minister for Finance 2017-2021. I am also thankful and humbled by the knowledge that our President found me worthy to serve in the executive in the recent reshuffle. 2, I declined for the following reasons. So he has declined the position of Deputy Minister. 1, the role of Parliament in the work of the executive, especially in matters relating to finance and economy, is critical. It is my humble belief that I can better support the work of government from Parliament. 2, I also intend to play a dedicated role in the crafting of the MPP's message and governance strategies going forward and going into the 2024 general elections. I consider that I am better placed to do so as a non-ministerial member of Parliament. I am eternally grateful to the President for the fatherly influence of my political career, and I always stand ready to support his vision in whatever I can do. May God bless I can do. So I'm just trying to say that he himself recognizes that being in government shackles him, which is why he declined the position.
I don't think that's what the statement is saying. Now, first of all, what was he offered? The man who served as spokesperson, deputy minister, the government returns to power. He's not given full ministerial status at the Ministry of Finance.
So what?
He's moved to Parliament to serve as chairperson. No. When you listen to the full import of what I'm saying, you understand the point.
Let's hear you.
After 3 years or so as chairperson of the Finance Committee, for some reason, government decides to do a reshuffle. And then they are offering him again, deputy minister at the Finance Ministry, a position he occupied in the first term of the Akufo-Addo administration. Moving from chairman of the Finance Committee, I mean, who in his right senses would agree to such a movement?
Sorry, he was deputy minister.
Yes. Moved to chairman of the Finance Committee. And then now they are...
In 2017, 2021, was deputy minister.
Yes.
Then he became chairman of Finance Committee when?
When the government returned to power.
Before the reshuffle. Before the new minister.
When the new government came into power.
So
under this current Parliament.
And then he was offered deputy minister in the new reshuffle.
Yes, so the recent one.
So he wasn't made. I get you. So in 2021,
yes,
he was then Finance Committee.
Yeah, that's right.
And then now they're bringing back to deputy minister.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, who in his right senses would take that position?
Oh,
especially no, seriously. I mean, if chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Yeah, so don't look at it as though it was some. If they had offered him Minister for Finance and he said, I was not interested, that is an entirely different
Minister of State.
Even Minister of State, I'm not so sure.
Minister of State was
it doesn't carry.
No, I remember when I doing this guy, Akuto say, he was Minister of State. And Akufo, it wasn't such a low position.
Look, Minister of State
at
without
finance.
Minister of State without portfolio is basically
not Minister of State without portfolio. Minister of State in finance.
Even
like
that,
if you go to Minister of Finance now, you have a Minister of Finance and you have a Minister of State. Now, Minister of State can go to Parliament to lay things if the minister is not there. But deputy minister,
you don't have any real authority like that.
No, but it's higher than deputy minister.
It is higher in rank, but in terms of the substance of what you do.
Are you trying to say that he declined because he wasn't given Minister of Finance?
I am trying to read that meaning into it. That's what a reasonable person would do.
But he said he wants to serve in Parliament because Parliament is good. Why would you take his word for it? He said Parliament is
well, we also talk to people around.
The guy is saying that being in Parliament is very important.
I don't
Minister of Finance is important, but Parliament is important.
I don't disagree with that.
Anyway, so your view is that sometimes he should not express the view only when it's out of government.
That's right.
He should be consistent.
Yeah.
But that doesn't remove the fact that what he's saying is true.
No, that's why I'm saying that. You see, ideally, he ought to have accepted responsibility for the mess we find ourselves in and say that he himself contributed to it, because he was a deputy minister when they took all the loans that are currently suffocated.
But is that not implied?
No, we don't need implicit.
No, it's implied in a statement.
No, we don't.
That we have run. He's saying that the kind of economy we've run. He says we take loans at high rate. We use it to pay back old loans. We overexpend. We spend on things, and of course, expenditure is fiscal policy, finance ministry. So implicitly, he has admitted that they are part of it.
You know what would have been much more pronounced, where he said that, look, based on this, I accept my responsibility in bringing us where we are and the mess we find ourselves.
Okay, let me take two closing.
I apologize. Going forward, this is what I will do to clean up the mess.
I hear you. Let's take Godfrey and I'll summarize. I'm thinking to Tamale for some quick highlights from the NDC events. Godfrey, where are you on this matter?
Well, I think Kukwati has been consistent on this. Just that he's been a small voice that is getting smaller.
Oh,
unfortunately,
it's getting smaller.
Oh yes, his voice should have been louder and bigger, but the state of our politics, which is what he talks about, means that his voice and others like him
shrinking.
Yes, their voices have always been small, and it is going to get smaller. So, in his own way, he has put this out there, conscience cleared, perhaps. But I must admit, if you run a check on Kuku Kwatin's comments since he got into Parliament, became a minister, he's been pretty consistent on the need to watch expenditure. We are overspending. Pay attention to this. We don't need V8. We don't do this. It's a simple exercise everybody can carry out. So I think he's been pretty consistent in that. Unfortunately for him, like I said, he's always been a very small voice. And I think his concern ends up being one thing we've always spoken about: the matter of party interest over national interest. And in this particular state, in this particular time, perhaps the matter of private interest overriding national interest, which is the common good of national society. We've had a significant dose of that the past few years, which has led to the situation that he talks about and delivers a warning if you miss it. He says, yes, most Ghanaians, myself included, worry that if we continue along the path we have been walking, our democracy will collapse, and with it, all our political parties to save our country from this looming danger. To save our country from this looming danger, the political class must acknowledge this reality and change behavior, and we don't have time, which is true. He also goes on to make admissions on the self-inflicted injuries that the political elite or the political class have caused this country. Yes, basically
71 and all those things.
Gives an F to everybody. And then goes on to talk about we must lead by example as a precondition for any reforms. We must demonstrate the sacrifices we shall make as politicians. This is why I say he's been consistent. I can read you 10 stories right now of Kuku Kwatin talking about the need to live within our means.
How will MPP react to him?
They won't, which is why I'm saying he's a small voice that is about to become smaller.
So they won't even mind him.
The likes of him, the MPP has moved beyond the likes of politicians like Kukwati.
So if it was,
which is the problem he's trying to bring their minds back
to. A bigger fish who said this, maybe a presidential candidate of the MPP.
It's not about being the bigger fish. It's simply the shift in principles. What he believes, we won't have anybody come out and say this from their side. From his side, he's not a low-ranking member of the MPP. By any means,
but he's not such a high.
But he's not such a high-ranking. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So he's not such a high. That's what I'm saying. He's not such a high-ranking member as well. But he's always been a voice that everybody knows that if we are talking about this sector of the economy or this sector of governance, this is the person you talk to. Yeah. So he has a certain level of status or capital with gravitas with the populace on that. Unfortunately for him, like I said, he will always be that person. His type is no longer in our politics. We have very few of those. Hopefully we get more. Because like I said,
I think some can argue on consistency. I think Sky's point about when he was minister is also a strong point, because you see, it's rich for you when you are just an MP to say a lot of things and not even admit you're wrong. Because if you go some of the stories around when he was deputy minister, COVID time, the kind of things they said, you say, hey, you see, so we that's why the media is important to check consistency.
Yes, but that's what you see. If I'm looking at,
like, look at this story. Look what cites coronavirus to justify ballooning public debt. I mean, this is, so we have to. You see, we are happy when you speak the truth, but we must also, as Kai says, look at where you are coming from and whether you are pontificating or not. Okay, so look at the story. I'm giving an example.
Hold on. You read one, I read one.
I cited a disruption caused by the coronavirus pandemic to justify the often criticized ballooning public debt under the Narano government. Mr. Kwaku told Citi FM, of all places, that the Narano government needed to borrow more to offset the COVID challenges. However, this was done within the global average. We have had to incur our debts because of COVID-19, and therefore, if you look at the global average, different situations will call for different considerations. So we want to do below 70%. But when you have COVID-19 to deal with, when you have a financial sector situation to deal with, and have legacy debts, you may have to incur some debts before you stabilize the economy. Citi FM quoted Deputy Minister in a report. Then they give the background, the 86 billion public debt and all of that. So, so Sky's point is that when you come up with such a statement that is trying to say that we should all speak the truth, I think you said he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. As a deputy minister, I was part of the borrowing that led us into this mess.
But again, you've already addressed that. I am with you on that when I say he admits to being a part of that situation in this. Perhaps you might want a more specific reference to say that, okay, then that gives you... Hold on, 1 second.
I just want to add something before you. So when you go, 2015, December 23rd, 1 billion euro bond is bad for Ghana. We'll vote against it. That's him speaking.
Yes. Do you know how much euro bond they took when he was deputy minister? The Eurobond the MPP took between 2017 and 2022 is over 11 billion.
Yes. I'm very clear on the numbers.
The previous government Eurobond in total was up to about 3 billion.
3 billion.
They took almost times 3 of that. And he was deputy minister for how many years in that arena? 4 years. So we have to question his views on Eurobond.
Yes, this is Kuku Kwati addressing Parliament in 2021.
Okay.
After the party, he became chairman.
Yes, this is Finance Committee, Kuku Kwati. Yes, let's work with the executive to develop the economy. Quote, this is a new Parliament. We must partner with the government in cutting costs and in raising revenue. Under no circumstance should we pretend that it is the job of just the executive to cut costs. My solemn appeal to my colleagues of the House this morning is that as we consider this debate, let us, for the love of this country, let us, for the concern we have for the economy of this country. He's making an appeal for the approval of the budget. Then he goes on to talk about cutting expenditure. He says he's urging the House to cut expenditure and procurement of calendars and cars, which do not contribute to the growth of the economy. he called on MPs to lead by example and avoid blaming the executive for the poor economic performance. There is that. I can read.
Okay, so let's just say he's been consistent since 2021.
Whichever way, I'm just saying that.
We'll grant him that.
Yes, I'm just saying that.
But when he left the minister, then because of course, as I say, if you're a deputy minister and a minister, you have to decide on which battles you pick.
Yeah, I'm just also saying that there are elements of this, of what he said here, that I can trace back to even when he was a deputy minister. At certain points that he said, which is what I'm saying. He said what he said. Unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for us, my main point is very small voice. And now, the type of voice that he has, there are very few of those.
So, for example, Ewon to me, who is Ashanti Regional Chair of MPP, will have more weight and gravitas and impact in what he says than somebody who's considered to be one of their better economic minds. If you look at since Kufuor time, he's one of the most. If you Google Kuku Kwatin's name, almost every economy story on MPP from say 2003, almost 20 years, he's been there. So you're right. The nature of our politics is changing, and the kind of voices amplified. And because the traditional media is not even the only way of amplifying voices now, you can have people who are even not necessarily up there on the issues get bigger covering for what they say because of the nature of the way the media works today. So
we wish him well.
We have to think about what to do. What he said, Caleb, I know you were meant to make a point on this issue. Take a quick comment on this from you, sitting there listening to him as a young Ghanaian. Obviously, you like the letter he wrote.
Yeah,
you like it.
It sounded interesting, and I thought that there was need for us to hear more of such
message voices.
The other point I was going to make was to ask how easy it is. You know, if you're a minister and you're going to make the kind of argument Sky is asking that, I mean, you were a minister, why didn't you hear such things from you? I also want to question the kind of environment you are working within. Does it support divergent views?
Very good question.
And to even think of sharing that outside.
Yeah.
I mean, because as a young journalist, even covering basic stories like classroom blocks that are not working, healthcare posts that are not functioning, the authorities will not talk to you.
They are afraid to speak.
Things have been streamlined.
Even at the local level.
So these are authorities who are running things, just sharing problems with you so you highlight so they can get support becomes an issue. Some of them get transferred and all. So if I'm a deputy minister at that time, besides swearing an oath of secrecy and all of those things, even if I was taking a principled position, then how was my divergent opinion going to be received? In what environment are we working in? So that's one point I'm just reflecting on.
It's also a call for moral courage. And you know, that's why you must count the cost. If you agree to be part of a political party, you must also decide what you believe and stand up. There are some lines that you should not allow to be crossed. You know, so some of the things we're seeing, these inconsistencies, because sometimes people say they believe something, but when they get into a certain situation, they don't actually believe it that much.
And Bernard, that's one of the challenges people are having with the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party now, because he's been the chairman of the economic management team. Okay, and for everything he's telling us he will do when we vote for him, we have asked for.
The question is, why haven't you done it?
Why haven't you done it?
I think that's the everlasting question he will face, because every candidate has a different question. The opposition leader's question is, look, you were president for 4 years. Right, and in the 4 years, vice president as well for 4 years, and the president for 4 years, and you said that you can't do much in 4 years, so you need more time in 2016. Now you're going to have only 4 years, and you're saying you can do a lot in 4 years. How do you reconcile that?
Exactly.
Then a vice president, you've been vice president for 8 years. You seem to have a lot of good ideas. Are you saying that your president was not listening to you because you were the head of EMT? Is it that EMT was just not effective because you were campaigning and saying we have the men? So how come all these great ideas are there, and you want us to vote for you to be president before you do it? So every politician will face questions. But we are happy with Kwatin's article, because even if for nothing at all, it tells us that people are thinking. People are thinking, and some of the things he's saying are things we could hear. So even if his motive may be because now I'm not a minister, we can still take the substance of what he says Do you follow my logic? So it's an interesting
and Bernard, the point you make about Ghanaians is also important. That do we want people to come and tell us what is achievable and realistic, or we want to be bamboozled by nice sounding?
It's a very good question, because do we reward people who promise the most, or we look for the realism? If somebody comes to tell you, if I come in, fuel prices may not increase, the roads may not be done, but I'll be honest with you, I will tell you the state of the economy and I will not overspend. Would that be enough for us? Because people say no road, no vote.
Yeah.
I saw a story over the weekend. Almost all the weekend stories. No road, no vote. Yep. They shouldn't come here and vote if they don't do our roads. So I don't know. We have to ask ourselves, what do we really want as a people?
Well, we ask, the season is upon us, where the world's greatest athletes will all gather in Paris for the 2024 Olympics from the 26th of July to the 11th of August. DSTV will bring you the best coverage of every moment live and in HD via 8 dedicated channels. So tune in to catch our athletes Benjamin Azamati, Joe Paul Amwa, and our 4x100 relay team as they take on the world's best and hopefully chalk some wins. Renew your subscriptions today by dialing *759# to follow the 2024 Paralympic Games only on DSTV. DSTV, your home of entertainment. The time is now. The Business and Financial Times, in partnership with the KPMG and Arthur Energy, has an exclusive knowledge partners bring to you the 13th edition of Ghana Economic Forum. The theme is Unlocking Opportunities, Re-engineering Ghana's Economic Model for Sustainable Development. The date is the 8th of August 2024 at the Mervyn Pick Ambassador Hotel at 9 a.m. This year's events aim to bring out new critical thinking and policy alternatives to shape the country's economic transformation and sustainability agenda. Our speaker is Dr. Ernest Addison, Governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's powered by the Business and Financial Times with support from Fidelity Bank, Ghana Stock Exchange, Olam Agri, Omni Basic Bank, Minerals Income Investment Fund, Ghana Link Media Partners, Citi FM, Asasi Radio, TV3, Happy FM, YFM, ZFM. Call us on 0209 457 427 or 0244 476 376 or visit www.GhanaEconomicForum.com for further details.
Now, Latex Forum is saying that walk into their showrooms and experience the quality they have on display in terms of mattresses and furniture, because they want you to enjoy your sleep. They don't want you to have aches and pains. So go to Latex Foam and see what they have for you. You can call them on 0302-231155. Visit them online, latexfoamghana.com. Latex Foam is your partner for life. Diamond Cement is the highest quality cement on the Ghanaian market. So for those who are in the construction space, this is for you. If you want something more affordable, the 32.5R grade is there as well. Diamond Cement's factories and Aplao Takrade and Bwipe. Call them on 0540-111-978. Diamond Cement, still hard as a diamond. Now you want to send money to friends and loved ones, relatives and all of that, use Express Pay, because they have lowered their charges. If you send 100 cedis, you pay 1 cedi, 200 cedis, you pay 2 cedis, and for anything above 1,000, you pay 10 cedis. So that's what's happening on Express Pay. Download the app for simplified payments, 24-hour customer service, tiny fees, and a full car tank. Remember, T's and C's apply.
Don't forget, coming up shortly is EdTech Monday. Nathan is going to host a big panel. Before we get into that,
give your eyes the best attention they deserve. Robert and Sons Limited have more than 3 decades in optical services, and our services cut across all the ranges. 100% original and unbeatable frames are also part of our packages. We have contact lenses as well. Visit Robert and Sons Optical. We are in Adabraka, Osudankwa Circle, Tema Community 6, Wager, East Legon, Adenta, Kumasi, Ahonjo, and Koforidua. For more information, please call us on 0302-222-601 or 050-151-9111 or follow us on social media at Robert and Sons Limited. Robert and Sons Optical Services, seeing is believing. Hello Ghana, there's an exciting new chocolate beverage out there on the market. We call it Sweetsko. It's a chocolate food drink with a blend of premium cocoa powder. Is coming from the producers of Cowbell. Is available in 20G. Can be found in a shop nearest to you. Is going for a cool 1 cedi, 80 pesos. Start your day with a cup of the great tasting Sweetsko and power your dream.
Let me just wrap up with GRA, reminding all persons registered for VAT NHIL and Get Fund that the returns are due. Wednesday, 31st July is the deadline. File your returns early and avoid payment of penalties. which could go to 10,000 CDs. Actually, 10 CDs each day, the return is not filed, or 500 CDs as a lump sum payment. The CST tax also, late filing attracts a penalty of 2,000 CDs and another 500 per day. So go to the taxpayersportal.com or dial *222#. That's *222# to be part or to be tax compliant. When we come back, we'll be jumping into EdTech Monday. Nathan Kwao and his guests talk about innovation in education. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Enhance your business operations with the HP Color LaserJet 1.
welcome to the July edition of EdTech Monday, live on the Citi Breakfast Show. Also on Facebook on Citi 97.3 FM and live on Mest Africa's Facebook page as well. My name is Nathan Kwao. I'm your regular host for the session. So a few Mondays ago, we brought you the June edition. We are back with the July edition. Now, if you are listening to us for the very first time and you are wondering what EdTech Monday is, it's a platform for EdTech entrepreneurs, education stakeholders, and government reps to facilitate critical conversations on the use of technology for teaching and learning. Now, the show is an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation's Regional Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in ICT, and it's part of the foundation's strategy to find solutions to Africa's youth employment by closing the gap in access to quality education and advancing the integration of tech in education policies and practices across Africa. EdTech Monday builds on the foundation's Young Africa Work strategy in Ghana, and the vision is that by 2030, the country will be a continental demonstration of young people, especially women, harnessing opportunities to shape the future of work and to create an inclusive economy with enhanced resilience for the most vulnerable. So the MasterCard Foundation is partnered with Mest Africa, and then we bring you EdTech Monday on the last Monday of every month, live on radio and on social as well. Now this month we are talking innovations driving efficiencies in education administration. Now, managing or administering education in Ghana is very important, but there have been many challenges, including the efficiencies in record keeping, communication, resource management. So today we'll be looking at we'll be exploring innovations that are driving efficiencies in education administration in schools across Ghana. And we have a very strong panel here to share thoughts, bring great ideas to life, and to offer some great suggestions on the way forward. I've got Mr. Fako Disu. He is Deputy Director of Education, Schools and Instructions Division at the Ghana Education Service. Mr. Disu, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Happy to be here.
All right. Also on the panel, we've got Leanne Duarte. Leanne Duarte is she's the accelerator lead at ALX Ventures. Leah, good morning and welcome to EdTech Monday.
Good morning, Nathan. Thank you so much.
All right. And finally, we have Dr. Emmanuel Kela Abimante, General Secretary to the Center for Professional Development, Training and Education. Doc, good morning. Welcome to EdTech Monday.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And also the Program Director for Inspiring Teachers Ghana.
Okay, let me add that. Program Director for
Inspiring Teachers.
Inspiring Teachers. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure having you around. Just in a minute or less, can you just tell us what you do in your various institutions? Doc, let me start off with you. So what do you do at the Center for Professional Development and Training and Education?
Right, thank you very much, and good morning to our listeners, wherever, especially with the CPDT, Inspiring Teachers, and then everybody out there. Yeah, as I said, Inspiring Teachers Ghana is an incubation of a program for learners and for leaders. But these two companies, that is, we have CPDT Ghana, which is a service provider by NTCE, where we train teachers to help them develop professional skills and then get their CDP points. And then we have Inspiring Teachers UK, who have partnered us to have Inspiring Teachers Ghana. And so we are basically looking at instructional leadership. We also look at foundational literacy, and then we have an app that brings us into the Mest issue, that we have an app that we use to also support teaching and learning. So all what I've said over here, we come over it in the app, and that is now helping our learners and leaders to also develop effectively. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you once again for joining us. Leah, you're with ALX. What exactly do you do? Your position is accelerator lead. What does that mean?
So that's ALX Ventures.
Okay,
I'll just
ALX Ventures,
I'll take you back a little bit. It's part of a group called the African Leadership Group, and we actually started as a pre-university program in South Africa.
Okay.
And the academy is called African Leadership Academy. And the goal was to think about how can we restructure education to build leaders for Africa's future. So after the African Leadership Academy, we built the African Leadership University, which you may have heard of.
Yes.
So we have 2 campuses, one in Mauritius and one in Rwanda. And interesting, our universities, we don't teach people to go after majors. We teach them to work on a mission.
Okay.
So once you start your university, what is your mission? And all the education you're getting is for you to fulfill a mission that's going to change the landscape of Africa.
I see.
Then we realized that we can't give this opportunity to major or majority of the students in Africa because this is a brick and mortar institution. And that's when we embraced technology and we built ALX, which is an online learning platform. We teach hundreds of thousands of young Africans technology, things like digital skills, software engineering, cloud computing, all those technical skills. And so they're able to get that easily and in a short time and go to market. And when we were training all these young people, we realized that some of them are becoming entrepreneurs. They're not going into the traditional job market. And that's where ALX Ventures comes in, where we train young people in entrepreneurship. We use technology to help them to become entrepreneurs faster and to access investment. So it's a big body of education, and a big arm of it also is leveraging technology to create leaders of tomorrow.
Wow, wonderful. That's amazing. Finally, let me get to Mr. Disu. Mr. Disu, your positions as Technical Director of Education, Schools and Instructions Division, what does that entail? What do you do on an average day?
Well, thank you very much for that intro, but I think there's a slight correction. Not a technical director, it's a deputy director.
Sorry,
yes,
deputy director.
not technical.
Deputy
right.
director.
So, Ghana Education Service is big. All the schools. So my division superintends teaching and learning and every other school-related activity or operation for pre-tertiary institutions in the country. So that is what we do. Our basic mandate is to ensure effective teaching and learning of pre-tertiary schools across the country. So that is where I work, and what I do, amongst other things, is to coordinate and support the intervention and deployment of EdTech solutions in our schools. Of course, emphasis is on pre-tertiary schools, from basic to senior high schools.
Wonderful. Let me stay with you. You get the ball rolling. What are some of the most impactful technological innovations currently being used when we are trying to administer or manage education in Ghana? Maybe you can give us some examples of schools or districts that have successfully adopted some of these things.
Thank you. Well, I would first of all talk about EMIS. EMIS is Education Management Information System.
Okay.
And as I indicated earlier, we are dealing with thousands of schools nationwide. And so in order to be able to manage and administer them very well, it is always key to ensure that you have your necessary or relevant figures right in terms of school enrollment, in terms of teacher staffing, in terms of school infrastructure, and all that. So basically, the EMIS is a data system that captures these data points for use of policy makers and ensures direction as to how we manage and administer our schools. There is also MSRC, which is Mobile School Report Card, which also now operates in over 10,000 Gallup schools nationwide, and it also does a similar thing. And I think as we go on, we will elaborate further on some of these interventions. Thank you.
I see. Let me just stay with you and talk about how these have changed the day-to-day operations of school administrators.
All right. So with the EMIS, for example, we have the data of school enrollment across board. And so if you are going to supply textbooks, for example, you know that you are going to rely on scientific data to do that. Okay, so let me dwell on the MSRC to address this point. So, for example, there is a dashboard for the MSRC. We have national, regional, and district levels. GES, the structure.
Yeah.
All right. So, at the district, you have the district directors of education and their team. So they have been given credentials that enables them, at the click of a button, they are aware of what is going on in the schools. All right. So you can know, for example, which teacher is in school, and tax on time is also being monitored in real time. So you cascade it to the national office, and you have the director general also being able to access the platform and then get himself informed of whatever is happening in the schools.
I see.
Thank you.
Quite interesting. Leah, let me come to you. Let's talk about how reliable and secure some of these innovations are. We are talking about things like cloud-based solutions and all of that for managing school data. How reliable and secure are some of these innovations?
I think if we're looking at the solutions, an education institution is just like any other organization. So we have companies that are using the same cloud-based solutions. The data is sensitive, and we could be, we could get into things like ransomware or, hacking.
Mhm.
So I believe that for any institution, whether you're an education or your organization that is maybe an enterprise, you have to look at, security, antivirus. There's a lot of antivirus software. There's a lot of security protocols, and also there's solutions that you could use, for example, Google cloud services, which are inherently secure. So I think the question is not how reliable are they. The question is what measures do we take to make sure that our data is secure, our children's data is secure,
Yes.
our data is secure, and we're not prone to attacks. And even if we are prone to attacks, how do we secure ourselves? For example, also, how do we back up this data? So if we lose it in one way, we still have availability. And actually, that's why the cloud solutions are better.
Yeah.
So let's say if you have an in-house server, but then you also have data on the cloud. If anything happens on ground, you still have the data. So how do you back up? How do you make sure you're secure? And how do you prevent the attacks in the first place? So reliability is, it's a give and take. It's technology, and people are there to take advantage of it. But we can take the measures ahead to make sure that we are protected.
I see. Doc, you are, you work with teachers and all of that. Let's talk about the transition, because some time back would work with paper, pen, and you're filling out all these details, and now you had to move to this new age. How are teachers and administrators being trained to ensure that they can do that transition, so they are not left behind, so they can use all these new age technologies that are on the table these days?
Yeah, thank you very much. As you've rightly said, it is something new, but now we're saying that we're in the 21st century. And so with 21st century skills, digital literacy and all these things would also have to come to play. And everything that we need to do is also based on our education perspective. And so our senior members here. So one, there is the need for targeted training. Recently, we hear government trying its best, providing laptops and other infrastructure for schools and colleges, universities, so that the network systems and all those things are being provided so that schools can have access to internet, even though there are challenges with it. But at least that is something key government is trying to do. So we need the online resources. We have various online resources, GES doing their own thing. Then also we have other ones which are international, something like TESA OERs. They are all online resources that are available, that I know with the colleges of education, for example, Ola College of Education, where I have been teaching for some 10 years now. They also tried to go into this TESA OERs, and I've tried to train other colleges in Ghana so that the teachers can have access to these open education resources to help and promote teaching and learning. Then there's a need for that mentor and peer support. In Ghana we have something called BBC, born before computer. So some teachers are saying they were born before computer. And so moving into this technological era becomes a challenge for them. But at least we can mentor ourselves. The younger ones, currently in all colleges of education, they do ICT. And so various courses, some are doing full-time, some too. At least every student has an aspect of ICT to be done. And when that is done, I hope they also coming out would also help our BBCs to also develop what we're talking about here. The need for collaboration, coming together to do it. It is not somebody who has to do it. So inspiring teachers also come in here, where we also have an app, as I said at the beginning, this app which is called the Smart Coach. Currently, we're working with some private schools in the Cape Coast, the Central Region, have about 16 schools. We are planning to even onboard 40 more schools, private schools, because we know majority of them are untrained teachers. And so the pedagogy and all those things that they also need. Now the app is supporting them to do what we call the peer coaching. And so with the peer coaching in there, they are learning how to deliver the pedagogy and other things. We have added an literacy aspect of it, where we can do assessment with the app. And so with my phone, I can assess a learner fluency in literacy, reading, etc. So these are all things that we are doing in there to help promote whatever technological era we have gone into. Curriculum integration, yes. I have been saying this thing all the time, that when I got to the university, I had access to a phone. But now in class 1, the child uses a phone. And so if that is something that we have now, then how do we also integrate that? And so now with our competencies, we are saying that teaching and learning should have digital literacy. Teachers are encouraged all the time to promote teaching and learning using all these tools. And I hope as it has started, we cannot just do it in a day, but little by little it's a process, and we shall get there.
Let me just stay with you. You've talked about, the technology and the innovation from the side of the teacher. Let's look at it from the point of view of student engagement and parental involvement. Maybe you can tell us what impact these new things have done in terms of student engagement or getting parents involved in all of that, from your perspective as a teacher.
Sure. With technology, it promotes personal learning. So personalized learning. Now, with or without a teacher, learning can take place. Because you go online there, whatever you're looking for, you can get some information. Maybe you may need an expert to help you understand it better, but at least the provision is available that you can have from online resources. Then some of these things are becoming very interactive. When you come to these MEST EdTech tools, Baby Cabs and all the other fellowships that are in there are producing wonderful equipments that are attractive to learners. And so it might not be just playing, but as they interact with those things, they are reading, they are doing mathematics, they are learning. We have Deaf Can Talk. That is where you are using an app by those teams. And then all these things are promoting teaching and learning, which I think is very, very necessary. Then access to the resources. They are available now. Currently, there is nothing that is hidden, because except you don't want it. If you go and just click on a button, a lot of information will come out there for you. So I believe these are things that the learners themselves are going through. Now with the parents, communication has become very fluent, because now with the phone, with the WhatsApp pages and all these things, parents can easily be brought on board. Then it also increases transparency. But where my sister was just talking about the data protection, which is something very important, because we need to see to it that the data of the learners, as they are going to other parents and the rest, you don't miss your target and create problems for them. It also helps parents to actively participate in educational activities. For example, as I talked about inspiring teachers, we, after our literacy program, we send reports to parents so that they track how their learners are progressing. And based on that, they can also make their inputs to know that really something is going on. So everything is now going digital. And we know that parents, learners, teachers, and everybody coming on board would help us get somewhere.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that, when he talked about, the collaboration and technology enabling collaboration, it's interesting sometimes when your child comes home with assignment and maybe you're struggling with it, maybe you don't know what it is, but now there are tools. Or even as a teacher, sometimes you're teaching something and maybe the concept is old and the children are even more up to date, so there are tools like AI. I saw there's one tech company in Ghana called Kwame AI, and that's a teacher's assistant. So it's a quick AI assistant that can help you to help the student if you're a teacher and you need to be up to date maybe in a certain topic. And that could also be for parents. So maybe someone develops something like, homework helper for parents, and I use artificial intelligence and I can easily help my son to do the homework without feeling embarrassed. So those are some of the things that, the technology tools and technology innovations can support in education.
Let me stay with you, Leah. Let's talk about school funding, because it's important. All of this is very cash intensive. So how are schools funding all these innovations, and what about schools with limited budgets? How can they also benefit from all this great technology that's coming out?
That's an interesting question. So first, I think looking at partners who are interested in educational outcomes. You mentioned MasterCard. For example, ALX is partnered with MasterCard as well. And I think also having the GES here with their strength, they could also look for partners that fund the GES, and then this funding trickles down into the different schools to make the resources accessible. So there are partners out there who are willing to help. And the other thing is, I mentioned there's a lot of edtech entrepreneurs and innovations. So instead of these entrepreneurs operating independently, a school could actually buy that solution and customize it for themselves. So if it's a solution built in Ghana, it's more affordable, comparable to maybe something that I'm buying out of the US, which is another tech software. So there's also an opportunity there for us to look at what are the tech innovations by our young people in terms of entrepreneurship, and then how do we adapt them easily to the schools, like that Kwame AI. How do we easily have a Kwame AI in all the different schools, So there's that opportunity where you look at a reduced cost to access this software, and there's also the opportunity where you look at international development partners that can fund the schools, either through an authority like GES or through direct intervention. So I think those are the opportunities where you look for funding. But right now, there's still accessibility, cost should not be a barrier.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost should not be a barrier. Yeah, and we could brainstorm. We have organizations that you could talk to. If you're an educational institution and you're determined to do it, we could do it. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Wonderful stuff there. Mr. Disu, let's get back to you. Let's talk about the roles that policymakers and private sector, parents, educational leaders, what roles do they all play in, facilitating the adoption of these new innovations or these new things we are talking about?
Right. Thank you very much. Well, policymakers, then you are talking about the national level and the impact thereof.
Yes.
So, for example, I'm aware that the Ministry of Education, under which we serve, has spearheaded the development of a draft ICT in education policy.
Okay.
Right, it's the draft, all right? And my information is that it is currently in Parliament and then en route to Cabinet, right? So as policy makers, the assignment is to set up the framework within which ICT and possibly EdTech interventions could be deployed to enhance teaching and learning with a view to improving learning outcomes. So that is the role of the policy maker, to set up the framework for the EdTech and ICT solutions to be deployed. And in doing this, the ministry engaged the different stakeholders that have various role to play, including the parents, the teachers, and the student community as well. So having set up the framework and having gotten the ICT education in ICT in education policy passed, then there will be the need to engage parents, for example, to know their roles and their responsibilities in supporting the awards to take advantage of the potentials that the technology offers us in this day and age. Thank you.
Doc, let me come back to you. Let's talk about teachers and administrators and what their roles are as things are evolving, and maybe you can talk to us about continuous professional development, how we can ensure that people are always on top of their game and they are skilled enough to take on this new technology.
Thank you very much. Our current educational policy or whatever we're going on, so we have moved from objective-based curriculum to standard-based, where standard-based makes it more learner-centered. Yeah. So if it is learner-centered, then it's hands-on. So what we're trying to say over here, if things are evolving, the teachers are expected to move from content deliverers to facilitators. Okay. So this time they have to facilitate the learners, helping the learners to do things for themselves and not the teachers that are giving lectures as we've been having them. So that is one aspect of it, which I think the training is also going on and teachers are abreast with that. Then we have to have a data-driven instruction. Usually everything is paperwork and we are not getting the things the way we want them to be. But now if we are adding technology, then teachers should be ready to have everything analyzed. So that if you're talking about something, you have the data to support whatever you say and whatever you do. So that all these things will help to identify learning gaps and also be able to adjust the teaching strategies to meet them. We have some learners with disabilities who are also in the system, and all these things that we talk about inclusivity. So if we are including them, then we need our data to know who is where, at what level is that learner, and what can we do to support everybody. Or what I say is that everybody, every learner, no one should be left behind, and they should all be helped to achieve their potential. And so if my potential is to this level, I should get there. If yours is to that level, you should get there. How can teachers do that? And I believe these are all things that are being done. Teachers should be tech-savvy educators. It's all right. What we're trying to say here is that they should be proficient in using the various educational technologies, including the learning management system, the online assessment tools, interactive softwares, and all those things. And they should be comfortable with it. Like GES is doing now, they have the, what do you call them? The, MIS, a lot of things that are putting up there. But if the administrators, if the teachers are not conversant with those tools, how do they do it? But I know workshops are being run day in and day out. And so as those things are going on, it's going to help them to also achieve. Now we should collaborate. Collaborative learners. Teachers should come together, administrators, and all the experts, so that all these things can also move on very effectively. The administrators themselves, also, yes, it's the same thing. As we are talking about the teachers, they themselves too, some were also born before computer. So they are also struggling to go through it. And so they also would have to get all the information that we have said. And so everybody should learn to be a technology champion. And so if we become technology champions, it's also going to help us to achieve greater heights as a nation.
Wonderful. Still listening to EdTech Monday, the July edition. This morning, our topic is innovations driving efficiencies in education administration. And my guests are still here. Mr. Fa Kodisu, Deputy Director of Education, Schools and Instructions Division, Ghana Education Service. Leah Nduati, Accelerator Lead at ALX Ventures. And Dr. Emmanuel Kela Abimante, he's the General Secretary at the Center for Professional Development, Training and Education. And he's also the Programs Director of Inspiring Teachers Ghana. We've been having a great conversation. Let's take our Vox Pop. It's a regular feature of what we do on EdTech Monday. This morning we'll be hearing from Mrs. Esme Winfield. She's a proprietress, Jane Montessori School. So that tells you that she's an administrator or a manager, if you like. Also sharing her thoughts on today's topic, innovations driving efficiencies in the administration of education in Ghana.
Innovations impacting on education these days make a huge difference as when we were in school compared to now. Because of the digital system, it's easier to research, Google, do all that you have to do. Sometimes you need to refer to the internet to do other things. You use it in teaching as well as the children usually need to learn it. So it's made a huge difference in education these days. Data in our part of the world is expensive. So if it can be reduced a bit, I think it will help a lot, because these days everything that you have to do is bordered on data. And then sometimes, for instance, last week like this, there was a surge and then everybody was in trouble last Saturday. So if you can have a constant data supply, everything will be fine. For us to make sure that innovations in administration support education, we need to put in all the checks and balances. The teachers must be up and doing by training and then doing their research as and when. They should also make the students their student-centered lessons, so that the students are more prioritized when using the innovations that have been set for the school. So for educational institutions to make sure that the innovations do not hinder the learning processes, the learners should be more centered. The teachers should also be able to make sure what they are supposed to do, they are doing it right. So it should be more effective and efficient, and then student-centered. That's the most important thing, so that it doesn't hinder the education.
So that was Mrs. Esme Winfield, proprietress, Jane Montessori School, also sharing her thoughts on all these innovations that are driving efficiencies in education administration. My guests are still here. Doc, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, thank you. You were talking about the professional development,
Yes,
that's the continuous professional
Yes,
development aspect of teaching and learning. Yes. Now, when you come to the public schools in Ghana, right now, from the basic to the secondary schools, colleges of education, every school is expected that a day in a week is assigned for professional development, where teachers come together to learn, to upgrade themselves. You know, now the world is dynamic. Things are changing, and we also need to change. John Dewey said something that if we continue to teach our learners the way we were teaching 10 years ago, then we are denying them of the future. So we cannot be doing what we were doing some years ago. We need to also be dynamic and to be changing. And so that targeted training is very good at its helping. Now we have blended learning, where the teachers are also going through all these things to help them to do online teaching, and then they can do face-to-face. That is going on. Mentorship, as we have already said, with inspiring teachers, we are what we call the peer coaching. And so with peer coaching, we have in the GS to also talk about critical friends. And so critical friends, every teacher will have a critical friend. You sit in the lesson of the person, see what is going on, then you can guide and give some advice. This is something very innovative and it's very good too. Because in Tree, we say that Tikuro Mkwejina. So if you are with a friend or somebody, he also sees what you are doing and can say that, oh, if I've done it this way or that way. So right from the planning to the delivery, then we have the reflection. And that is very good. Then the resources, if they're available, I think they work on them. But one thing we want to talk to our big men is that some incentives can come to those we see are actually putting the technological issues into perspective.
Okay.
Because I always say that at times people or teachers who attend workshops, but they come back and they virtually don't do anything about what they have learned. So if we can make the follow-ups, like we said, the data-driven, and then we get to see some of these ones who are actually using the tools to work, then we can encourage them. Not necessarily money, but at least anything that can be done for the person to see that, wow, I've been recognized that I'm using these tools. It's very good. Then I also always talk about this fact that head teachers should learn to own some of these policies that comes. Usually when it comes, it's like, oh, it's the government who have brought it. And so PLCs attend them, they become reluctant. But if you see that, yes, this is something beneficial, it's going to help me, then you own it. So you rather even be calling. No new, is there anything new that we can add on? I think these are some things that we have to do. Then we need to sustain them, sustainability. Okay. It shouldn't just be a 9-day wonder. We start, then it ends there. So I think these are some key things. If we put into our professional learning development, it will be very helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Disu, you want
I wanted to add to what Doc said early on regarding to continuous professional development of teachers. And earlier, he also alluded to the fact that some of our colleagues, if I can use that word, describe themselves as born before computer, and so perhaps shy away from innovations given or offered by technology. I think we are all aware that our Minister, Honorable Dr. Yawose Educhum, is very passionate about STEM education and linking it up to the professional learning communities, which is a day set aside in every week for teachers from the basic schools to the senior high schools to come together and then interact and then find efficient and innovative ways of
education.
Delivering impactful lessons. So it is part of the ministries and GS's directive that during these PLC sessions, the ICT, in every school we have ICT teachers and ICT coordinators. So they take advantage of the PLC to support their colleague teachers in deploying the use of ICT enabled solutions in order to make learning fun and real, and therefore participatory for our learners. So that is what I wanted to add to what he said. And of course, he also mentioned critical friend. I think we need to educate our audience about this. So in a typical PLC session, for example, you have
for the uninitiated, what's a PLC?
PLC is a professional learning community.
Okay.
And it is one avenue by which the system, MOEGS, has provided for teachers to improve their professional skills. And then in the process, they also earn points towards their upgrading and so on. So in this session, we are coming together. Let's say we are all on the same staff.
Yeah.
And so there's a subject, a topic in a particular subject. If I'm the lead, then I will facilitate the session, highlighting the essential points or strategies that you can use to deliver that session effectively. And so amongst us, let's say, Mr. Host, Nathan, you will be my critical friend.
Okay.
So as I'm facilitating, you are observing and you take notes. So at the end of it all, then we come one-on-one. This you did well, that you didn't do well. I think you could have done this better, and so on and so forth. So this is what is happening in our schools, right from basic schools to colleges of education. Thank you.
I see. Wonderful. Leah, let me come back to you. Let's talk about all these innovations in education administration and how they prepare students for the future of work, because what you do really is to get people ready for the world of work.
Yeah, it's like you read my mind, because you know what he was saying about teachers being facilitators and teaching young people to learn by doing and to learn by themselves. It's what is reflecting now. Now we have what we call the gig economy. Most young people are not going into direct employment. They are taking gigs here and there, doing online jobs. Yeah. There's all these workplaces online where you register your skills and people can hire you to do a job and pay you. So if, for example, from basic school and you finish secondary school and you have a really good skill in IT and you're able to do it, you can actually start earning money before you go to university or before you go to college by just inserting yourself in the gig economy. So I think using these innovations and teaching our young people how to learn by themselves, how to harness that knowledge, so as a teacher, for example, my work is to prompt you like, okay, how do you do this? Go and find out, or go and learn, or Google and then come back and let's discuss it. And maybe use AI and discuss more, or, interact with AI and all this gamified learning to come up with solutions. So you become a very solution-oriented individual and you can go into the job market faster. So I think it's in line with the future of work today, where people are not being employed to go and sit in an office from morning to evening. There are also some of them remote workers. So you have to sit at home, manage your time, use technology to deliver what your boss is expecting of you or what your company is expecting of you, and getting paid. So I think it's all in line. And one way to look at it as institutions is, what are the outcomes? How are we enabling these young people to get into the job market? And I like that we use technology, because then you can track the data and then you can track the impact of where your young people are ending up and what jobs are they getting, which is one of the things also we do with MasterCard Foundation. We want to find out from the time the student enters the institution to the point they finish, where are they ending up, what job are they doing, how much are they making, how is that income improving the livelihoods of the people around them. So there's a way, because of technology, that we can track all this impact, track the learning outcomes of our students, and then also track how they are able to enter the job market.
Okay. Doc and Mr. Disu, you can answer this question. Let's talk about these innovations and how they could potentially affect employment opportunities within the educational sector, or the education sector in Ghana. I don't know whether, Doc, you want to go first, or Mr. Disu?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, I don't know what you want to mean by how it affects, but to me, it's positive.
Okay.
Yes, it's a positive thing that goes on, but like my sister rightly said, it's a blend. But just that we don't have to say, because we are moving technologically, we are disowning all the others we were doing. It should be a blend in here. And so it enhances whatever we're doing. I think 2-3 weeks ago, we went for this EdTech conference in Abuja. I was there, but I was communicating with my people back in Cape Coast.
Okay.
And work was going on. That is about technology still at play. So even though I was outside the place for about a week, I still communicated with my people and the work went on smoothly. And so I believe it's a blend that we need to work to enhance it and not to see it as negative. Usually we see the negative side because internet connectivity, data, those are challenges though. But if we look at the positive sides, then we'll move ahead.
Okay. Mr. Disu?
Yeah, thank you.
You can add a comment. When
So regarding employment for teachers, right? Or
employment opportunities within the sector.
All right. So in GES, for example, you know, in the past, you if you are looking for employment in GES, you would have to fill forms and then submit your application letters and so on. But you know, we have evolved, and so now everything is done online. All right. So I'm happy to report to your audience, for example, that the 2022 graduates from our colleges of education, for example, they've been recruited, and those who were successful did what we call the self-posting model. Mm-hmm. Now, how does this work? In the past, when teachers are recruited, their names are sent to the regional directors, who will in turn assign them to their respective districts where they want to teach, and they will be posted. Now, with technology, they sit in the comfort of their homes, wherever they can access online, and then the teacher recruitment portal, self-placement. So all the schools in Ghana where they declared vacancies were advertised. And so once you go through the system and you've been shortlisted, then you have access to the schools with the vacancies. So it is now up to you to select where it's convenient for you to teach. All right. And so that was done. This is very recent. Yeah. And the reports we had from our Director General is that on the first day of that exercise, as much as 9,000 teachers went through the process, and by the time they were done, they had printed out their appointment letters. So, I mean, it tells you the efficiency at work and the advantages we can derive from some of these innovations. Yeah.
Leah, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I'm just impressed because then the teacher doesn't feel like they were forced to go somewhere.
Sure. They chose where they
wanted to go. Yes, but I also wanted to add that adding all these technological innovations in education is not a threat to a teacher's calling or a teacher's job. First of all, I think being a teacher is a calling.
It's a calling.
A teacher is a teacher. Yeah. So the thing that the teachers need to understand is technology now is very easy to use, because we have a lot of emphasis on, easy to use, user friendly. Mm-hmm. So a lot of technology is easy to use. Like this process that he just explained, which was very complex, has now been simplified. Yeah. So the teachers need to be enabled to understand that this is coming to make your life easier. This is coming to enable you to become a better teacher, which is essentially your calling. So I think that's just the mind shift that needs to happen, and maybe just a calling for the GS Ministry of Education. Maybe they need to also look at how they compensate the teachers. So maybe we find a way to really fund this process, fund the infrastructure, which is the accessibility and the reliability of the internet, but also make sure that we reward the teachers, because our children are spending most of the time with these teachers. The teachers are facilitating the learning for us to have better outcomes for the whole country and the whole economy. Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's just do our final question, and we can take concluding comments after that. Leah, let me take your thoughts on which emerging technologies do you believe will have probably the most significant impact on education administration in the next 10 years?
Right. Okay. In the next 10 years and now, I think definitely the cloud technology, being able to store our data and have our data on cloud, and also e-learning, enabling e-learning environments for our students. So any e-learning platforms or e-learning softwares that we blend where the teacher facilitates, that's also important. And like I mentioned, artificial intelligence, that cannot be ignored. Already our children are using it, and then the teachers are taking it like, oh, these children did all their assignment or using AI. But we need to understand that AI is also an enabler, makes things efficient. So it also changes the landscape right now. There's jobs called prompt engineering, which is how do you engage with the AI tool to get the best outcomes. So we also need to understand understand that these tools, we use them to educate our children, but also it's a tool for them to get jobs in the future. So I think e-learning platforms becoming more enhanced, cloud services where all your admin is on the cloud, and then artificial intelligence. Those are technologies that we need to look at for the next 10 years.
Okay, Mr. Disu, do you have anything to add? Which technology do you think will have the most impact?
Well, of course, as the expert in the space has said, I will align with that. Yes, of course, AI is there, and we have big data and so on, and then the cloud. So, and then e-learning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Doc,
so what I'll just add to it is, as they have all these things in place, we still need a teacher to guide them, because AI will give you some information, but how do you tweak it to make it appropriate for whatever? Because AI will just give you some information, but you would also have to know how to manage it. That is where the live teacher would also have to come in there to guide the learners to be able to make it, because I believe it is becoming very helpful.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I see.
Yeah.
So the teacher is really at the heart of everything.
Sure.
Really, and we've highlighted the fact that they need to be groomed and trained and nurtured and skilled. Concluding thoughts. I mean, any other thing we want to add before we wrap it up? Doc, Leah, Mr. Disu, any thoughts?
Well, thank you. I would say that we can't shy away from the advantages offered by technology, and so we in the education space, we have embraced it and we are deploying it to the best of our ability, and we support from our DPs like UNICEF and organizations like Layers Own. I believe from here we will engage and we'll see how we can collaborate. So, for example, I would say that in Yulo Krobo Senior High School, for instance, they have automated their systems, and each student has a card, and that makes life on campus very easy and convenient for them. And so we are exploring ways of upscaling these innovations to some of the senior high schools, and in some of the schools too. In the past, when you go to work, you report to school as a teacher, you have to sign in a notebook and so on. But now some of the schools, for example, I know Asantoa and a few of the other schools have gone automated, and so you just log in and your attendance is checked, and all of these are improving performance and learning outcomes in our schools. So the future is technology, and it looks bright for Ghana education. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I also want to say that the road to effective implementation of technological innovations in Ghanaian education administration have the potential to revolutionize learning and also improve parental involvement, but not without its challenges, as we say it. But however, with targeted training, strategic partnerships, focus on ensuring access and support, with ethical considerations, also by embracing continuous professional development, equipping educators with the necessary skills and resources, fostering it is possible for maximizing their impact and ensuring equitable access to a quality education for all schools and learners. Thank you very much.
Leah, do you have concluding comments? None?
Yeah, just to say thank you, even for MasterCard and MEST and Citi FM to allow this conversation to happen, to also discover what the GS is doing and Ministry of Education is doing so far. The role of the teacher will still remain the most pivotal, but technology is among us. We cannot fight it. It's part of our lives now. So we just need to adapt and move on and improve everyone's life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a very insightful conversation with my guest, Mr. Fako Disu, Deputy Director of Education, Schools and Instructions Division of the Ghana Education Service, Leon Duarte, Accelerator Lead at ALX Ventures, and Dr. Emmanuel Kela Bimante, General Secretary at the Center for Professional Development, Training and Education, and also the Program Director of Inspiring Teachers Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate that, and all the best in your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you for having us.
Right.
And thank you out there for listening to the July edition of EdTech Monday, live on the Citi Breakfast Show, Citi 97.3 FM, and also live on Facebook at Citi 97.3 FM and West Africa's Facebook page. We had a conversation on innovations driving efficiencies in education administration. I'd like to thank my guests once again. It was an honor having them. And thank you out there for listening. We'll be back next month with another exciting edition of EdTech Monday. Remember, EdTech Monday is a platform for EdTech entrepreneurs, education stakeholders, and government reps to facilitate critical conversations on the use of technology for teaching and learning. And is an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation's Regional Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning and ICT, and part of the foundation's strategy to find solution to Africa's youth employment by closing the gap in access to quality education and advancing the integration of technology in education policies and practices across Africa. My name is Nathan Kwab and I hosted the session. And we are back in August for another one, the last Monday of August. So mark your calendars and make a date, because it will be another 1 hour of learning, taking in knowledge, and embracing technology for the advancement of teaching and learning in Ghana.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Are welcome on the number 0549986996. Well, Christopher from Shukra sent us a message. Wants to know how many public schools are functioning computers and labs? So that's a great question. That's a great question. We'll find out more. Plus, we have another question here. People were asking what the GS was doing about teachers with visual impairment in terms of tech. So maybe using Braille or getting them, technology that can help them also get their teaching materials together. Because a lot of the textbooks are still in hard copy. Well, that is very true. Even though we've digitalized and some textbooks, at least per the government's info, have been turned into digital and they are on tablets and devices. Those with visual impairments also need to be considered. So it's a very important question. It's a conversation we need to have one of these days on what we are doing in terms of providing education or helping those in the educational space, either they are learners or teachers or facilitators. Those people with one challenge or the other. It could be speaking challenges, it could be hearing challenges, it could be visual challenges, it could even be physical challenges. So as we talk about all of this, it's important that we also have a conversation on what we are doing to also rope them in so they are not left behind. In the last EdTech session, we had the Deaf Can Talk app. So the app developer was here with the student who uses it, and the student has speaking and hearing challenges. That's great, but we need to scale that up a lot. So those who have those challenges can also be part of the learning space, so they are not hampered. Team Ghana is in the pool. Harry Stacy will be swimming, that's around 9:20 there about. Around 9:20, he's in the pool for the 100-meter men's freestyle.
9:20 is the Ghana time.
Yes,
AM, PM.
No, those AM.
Oh,
the game start very early.
Okay.
Anyway, that's how I do some stuff. I should read the news in about a minute. But yeah, tomorrow, Team Ghana.
Okay.
We are in the pool.
We go for Team Ghana.
We are in the pool.
The 7 athletes. Are they 7 or 9?
No, they are 8.
8.
They are 8. 2 swimmers.
When I saw the numbers and that of the US number, like, oh God, when?
So we have 2 swimmers.
Okay.
And then 6 runners, or 6 people doing track and field.
Okay.
So out of the 6, there's a lady, Rose Amonima Yeboah. She's the African Games champion. Yeah. She's doing high jump.
She's one person I'm looking forward to.
And then we have the rest are all runners.
And then the 4x100.
Then of course the relay.
Yeah.
So they are all there. So tomorrow, Team Ghana. This week will be we'll see a lot of Team Ghana.
Okay, hopefully they get us some medals.
It's a long way to go, but I'm happy. When you look at the US team, they brought like 2,000 people. We're qualified for almost every sport. Every sport they are in there.
Yeah.
Almost every sport they are in there. But we'll see. Anyway, what's in the news? It's 10.
Coming up, National Democratic